Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 1025. The game streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Fireball Hot Take Friday. And boy, did we get a scare. Did we get a scare about, an hour ago? I'm sitting there looking at Twitter, just minding my own business, getting ready for the show. And I see Ryan Tannehill didn't practice today. And I got a little nervous about that. Ryan Tannehill didn't practice. It's one thing for a guy who's a big part of the team, like David Long Jr., Julio Jones, Jeffrey Simmons, who hasn't practiced a lot this week. It's one thing for one of those guys to not practice. It's another thing when it's Ryan Tannehill. And then I think Nick Westbrook-Akina met with the media, and Nick Westbrook-Akina said, we've got all the confidence in the world in Logan Woodside. I think Joe Rexrode tweeted that out, that Nick Westbrook-Akina said they have all the confidence in the world in Logan Woodside if Tannehill doesn't play. And then I think everybody was like, whoa now. So I was just waiting for Mike Vrabel today to finally get to the podium. And Vrabel was talking about Tannehill, who missed practice today with an illness. He broke it down for us. Here's what Vrabel said today.
I think it'll be an illness reported on the injury report.
Not COVID illness?
Illness.
What's your concern level for obviously a hugely significant player for the game?
No designation.
So the no designation means that he's probably going to play. It's like when a guy misses practice on Wednesday with a knee, but he's full Thursday and Friday. It's not questionable. It's not doubtful. It's just a line, no designation. You expect that guy to play. So that ends that crisis. I hope everybody's having a great Fireball Hot Take Friday. Caroline's not here today. Caroline Fenton is out today. And I'm kind of sitting here like, wait a minute, when did we start giving away vacation days out like that? I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? And she was like, yeah, I've been here for over 6 months. And I was like, you've been here for 6 months? She was like, yeah. Like, my goodness gracious, time flies. Ian's here today. Hello, Ian.
What up, what up?
So I thought I had prepared the show today, and I was ready to rock and roll. And we had some, administrative stuff we had to do. And then I saw this Tannehill scare, and I legitimately got worried. Like, I legitimately was looking at this thinking, Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill missed practice, but then you heard right there that it was just an illness. And I kind of felt better, and I thought, okay, good. Back with the kind of the regularly scheduled program. I watched some of the Ravens-Dolphins game last night. I'm not going to admit that I watched it all because I watched a lot of Predators, and I also fell asleep in the middle of both games because I had spent a little too much time up the night before at the CMA Awards, and so I found myself falling asleep and all kinds of things. By the way, big win for the Predators, which we'll discuss. But I watched enough of the Ravens-Dolphins game last night. I watched a lot of the Jaguars and the Bills on Sunday with the Titans playing a Sunday night football game. And I walked away from that game thinking, the Ravens aren't very good. Like, they're not very good. I watched them play last week on the Red Zone channel against Minnesota. And I don't think a lot of Minnesota. And Minnesota should have won that game, lost in overtime. And I watched the Ravens play, and Lamar Jackson, he's good. But I kept thinking they lost all their running backs, and Marcus Peters is out for the year, and they've had a ton of injuries on defense. I'm like, the Ravens aren't very good. It's almost like the opposite feeling that a lot of people have when they've watched the Titans over the last couple of weeks. They go in there thinking the Titans are a team that is totally or they watch the Titans play the Rams on Sunday Night Football, and they think, man, this team's pretty good. I feel like the Ravens are the opposite of that. I watched them Sunday. I don't think they're very good. And so I'm sitting here this morning, I wake up, and I see that Tua comes in relief and knocks off the Ravens. And I'm like, wait a minute. We've been sitting here talking about the playoffs and talking about getting the number one seed and talking about who all could be a threat to the Titans. I don't see the Ravens as a threat to the Titans after last night's game. You look at the Ravens' schedule the rest of the way. They play in one of the harder divisions in football. The AFC North and the NFC West are two of the hardest divisions in the NFL. You want to go to an easy division, go right here to the AFC South, go to the NFC South, where Atlanta might make the playoffs because they get to play Carolina and the Saints, and go to the NFC East, where it's Dallas and a bunch of bums. Those are easy divisions. You look at that Ravens division, my goodness. Pittsburgh, sometimes they look like a good team. Sometimes they look like a bad team. Cincinnati's already housed them once. The Browns have all these star players, and maybe getting rid of Odell Beckham Jr. helps them out. Baltimore has a ridiculous schedule down the stretch. They have 2 NFC games left. The Titans have 1 NFC game left. It's against San Francisco, who is terrible after this game with the Saints. They have 2 NFC games left. The Rams and the Packers. There is no shot the Ravens get the number 1 seed. We talked yesterday about the Chargers and how the NFL Nation reporter for ESPN, Shelley Smith, who covers the Chargers, she said that they could have a 13-4 record, which would be the second highest in the league to the Titans. TD predicted 13-4 there too. And then we went over the Chargers schedule. And it's the Raiders and 2, I believe, with the Broncos and the Chiefs. And I think they've got a couple of tough NFC games in there. My goodness gracious. I understand the Titans don't have Derrick Henry, and I don't think the Titans are the same team without Derrick Henry, and I don't think the Titans' defense is going to get them 14 points a game like they did last week against the Rams. While I do like the Titans' defense, I'm not convinced that they're going to be as good as they were. But just look at the AFC. Who's good in the AFC? The only knock you have on the Titans right now is that a month and a half ago they lost to the Jets without A.J. Brown. That's the only knock on the Titans. They got smacked week 1 against Arizona. I think most of us think that Arizona Cardinal team is pretty good. They beat Seattle. They had that just ridiculous stretch where they went in the 4 games, went 4-0, Buffalo, Kansas City, the Colts, the Rams. They're going to win the division. It's almost impossible, it feels like, when you look at their schedule for them to lose it. Who is the real contender for the number 1 seed in the AFC? But the one thing I'll say about life, I played high school sports, but I worked in college sports. You know, when you're a manager for a team, and I know I get all the tweets all the time whenever I say something that people disagree with. Get back to folding towels in women's basketball, Jared. By the way, I did do that. I flew in the charter flights. I was in film sessions. I was in big meetings. I did it all. I didn't make any big decisions or anything like that, and I didn't hit any jump shots. But I've been part of a team. I've been part of a successful team. We made it to the Final Four, went to the national championship game. But one thing you always notice is parents. Parents of high school athletes, parents of college athletes, they think their kid can do no wrong. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. They look at their kid and they think, well, the coach is setting my kid up to fail. Your son went 0 of 16 from the field. Your son threw 8 interceptions. 0 for 4 at the plate, 6 guys left on base. But the coach is failing my child. His teammates are not good. They are not this. They are not. Okay. We've all been there. I hope I'm not doing that as far as the Titans are concerned. Again, I know they lost to the Jets. But the Bills, right now, just lost to Jacksonville. They've got games, I believe, with Tampa Bay left. They've got a game with the Colts left. They got 2 games with the Patriots. I have a hard time seeing Buffalo keep up with the Titans. I look at the Ravens. I look at their schedule down the stretch after watching last night's game. I'm not even convinced the Ravens are all that good. I don't think the Chiefs are all that good. I think the Chargers and the Raiders are like sneaky and they should probably get into the playoffs, but I don't think that they're like number 1 seed good. And outside of the Bills, all these teams play in good divisions where all these teams are going to beat each other up. I don't think Kansas City is going to be this bad for that long. So I have to ask myself, Am I looking at the team that I cover, the Titans, and am I looking at them like a high school parent or a college parent would look at that team? Am I looking at the Titans thinking, Ravens aren't very good. Chargers, they got a good quarterback, but they're not an elite team. Raiders, the Raiders are a mess. The coach is fired. Wide receiver released after essentially murdering somebody. It's just a total mess. I'm not really worried about them. None of those AFC North teams, Steelers, Browns, Bengals, don't see them competing for the number 1 seed. Am I like this high school parent that just thinks my kid can do no wrong? Oh, the Titans down the stretch. Titans down, they'll be fine. That's my question for you. Because there is one element to all of this that we talk about with an assumption. I talk about it assuming. Caroline talks about it assuming. You all in the text line and the callers assume this. That the Titans aren't going to get tripped up by the easy schedule. Because that's what they've got the rest of the way. They play the Saints on Sunday. No Trevor Siemian, or no quarterback. It's going to be Trevor Siemian, who couldn't even beat out Logan Woodside. And it doesn't look like Alvin Kamara is going to play on Sunday. Now, the Saints have an okay defense. But again, they have Trevor Siemian at quarterback and no Alvin Kamara. At home, that's a game you should win. They play the Patriots, a decent team on the road. Steelers, a decent team on the road. And after that, a 49er team that might fire their coach because they are inept. A Dolphin team that until last night there was nothing positive you could say about. Urban Meyer in Jacksonville, and 2 with the Texans. And the assumption we make is they're going to win those games. I can hear the GM saying in the back of my head, hey, this is the NFL now. He'd be scared to death of Trevor Siemian and the New Orleans Saints. And I just wonder this. As much as we look at the Bills and dog them for their loss last week to Jacksonville, how can you lose to Jacksonville? As much as I watched that Ravens game last night, and I said it on Caroline's, I thought the Ravens were going to take the Dolphins to the woodshed last night. They did not. So as much as we look at them and we think, Ravens aren't very good, or we see the Bobo reporter at ESPN say 13-4 for the Chargers, we go over their schedule and we're like, no freaking way. Are we comfortable assuming that the Titans are so much better than all these other teams? And unlike these teams losing to bad teams, Cowboys lost to the Broncos last week, just as much as we look at that, can we really assume that the Titans are going to do this? That the Titans aren't going to have a lot of slip-ups the rest of the way? How do we feel about that? Because as much as I can celebrate the way the Ravens played yesterday and think to myself, pretender, I also have to think, can we really trust the Titans? Mike Vrabel's been the coach. This is his 4th season that Mike Vrabel has been the coach. And almost every big game that they've had to get up for and play. Games you look at and you think, how in the hell are they going to beat Tom Brady and the New England Patriots? They find a way to do so. Joe Rexrode brought it up the other day. They played that Texans game in week 2 of Vrabel's first year. No tackles, Blaine Gabbert at quarterback against a good Texan team. They found a way. I have no problem with Vrabel getting the team up for the big game. But what about those games against the Jets? What about those games against 2018 Buffalo and Josh Allen? So how much do you trust the Titans the rest of the way? Because if you trust the Titans like a mature team, like we trusted the old Titans, the 2000 Titans, if you trust the Titans, I think last night proved there is a really, really good chance that they get the number 1 seed in the playoffs. And if you get the number 1 seed and you get the 1 bye and you get that 1 extra week for Derrick Henry to come back and you let the rest of the AFC take each other out, you got a really good shot at going to the Super Bowl. And that's how I felt watching last night's game. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. That's how we're starting the show with this question. Do you trust the Titans? You can't trust the Bills. They just lost to Jacksonville. You can't trust the Ravens. They just lost to terrible Miami. I don't think anybody trusts the Chargers or the Raiders or the Bengals or the Patriots with a rookie quarterback. Can you trust the Titans? 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. Plus, this week's game against the Saints. We knew what was on the line going into the Rams game. We knew the division was on the line going into the Colts game. We knew that Kansas City's season might be on the line when you played them. And we knew that the Titans needed to show on national TV that they could compete with Buffalo. But I think there's a lot more on the line this week against the Saints. We'll get to that next. Stillman and Company on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. It's ESPN 1025 The Game. And, of course, we are streaming on the Game Nashville app.
Shane scores! Matt Duchene with the overtime winner.
Matt Duchene stays hot and lifts the Preds to an overtime win against the Blues.
We don't ever get too low and we never get too high, and we just have fun playing.
The Preds have won 7 of 9.
Here's Trinity scores!
Your exclusive home of Smashville is
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical breakthrough. The Wave technology at Hillside Medical Clinic was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results in the bedroom. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
With Fundbox, you can stop waiting and start doing. If your small business needs funds to grow, the time is now. Fundbox offers fast, easy access to small business funding up to $150,000. So hire that new employee, launch that campaign, buy that piece of equipment. Apply in minutes at fundbox.com, and you could get funding as soon as the next business day. Fundbox. Ready, set, grow. Credit line amounts, rates, and terms are based on creditworthiness and subject to change. Additional documentation may be required.
Want to have the most delicious Thanksgiving meal ever and not deal with the cleanup? Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel will have a family-style meal with a menu that makes your mouth water just thinking about it. Herb butter roasted Joyce Farms turkey breast with gravy, or sorghum glazed ham, smashed Yukon Gold potatoes, biscuits and sage dressing waffles, green bean casserole, and southern corn pudding. Make your Thanksgiving easy this year at Kitchen Notes in the Omni. Go to OpenTable.com and make your reservations now.
Saturday night in Smashville is coming. Your Nashville Predators return from a 2-week road trip, and we need you to fill Bridgestone Arena on Saturday, November 13th, as the Preds face off against the Arizona Coyotes. Single game tickets are available now. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets. Don't miss out. Reserve your seats and grab your gold, because Smashville is waiting for you. NashvillePredators.com/tickets. Can't wait to see you back inside Bridgestone Arena. Let's go, Preds!
Hey, it's Jared for Boll & Branch. It's gift-giving time, and I hope you're ready to get your loved ones the quality of a great night's sleep. We spend 1/3 of our lives in bed, so pure organic cotton sheets from Boll & Branch make a truly special gift. Boll & Branch has fantastic sheets that are comfortable and of a great quality, and it's all at a fair price. I know this because I have Boll & Branch sheets, and I absolutely love every single night's sleep I get. Boll & Branch has the most comfortable cotton organic sheets on the market. Husband and wife team Scott and Missy Tannen founded Boll & Branch to create a new standard of bedding by doing things the right way and not the easy way. So get those signature hem sheets for your loved one and give that great gift of comfort. Treat yourself and your loved ones to the new standard in bedding from Boll & Branch. Their gifts come wrapped and ready in their special holiday packaging. Order by December 19th for guaranteed delivery by Christmas. Get 20% off your first set of sheets with promo code Jared at BollandBranch.com. That's BOLL and Branch.com, promo code Jared. See site for details. Exclusions may apply.
Yo, this is Justin from Music City Vintage, here to provide you with all your vintage apparel and shoe needs. We've partnered with 102.5 The Game to provide you all with an exclusive discount today. Come to our shop today, located in East Nashville at 2503 Gallatin Avenue, and say "The Game" at checkout and get 10% off your entire order. If you're unable to make it in, we got something for you as well. All of our products in store are also available on our website at musiccityvtg.com. Just use promo code GAME at checkout and get 10% off your order.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Alvin's so special for them, and if he doesn't play, do you see maybe the same things, just Ingram, just a bigger, heavier guy?
Well, they put a lot on his plate. I think as far as percentage of offense, I think when you talk about, where Derek was for us and, where Alvin Kamara are and where, McCaffrey's out there, those are premier players. And he has speed, his quickness, he runs behind his pads. It's not just like he's a, one hit takes him down, He breaks a lot of tackles. I've always had a lot of respect for him. I think he catches the ball well. He's a good route runner. He'll protect. He watched Seattle. He comes back and, protects Adam. When he blitzes, he's not afraid to run in between the tackles. It's not like this is just toss sweeps, and he runs the entire offense. He gets downhill when he has to get downhill, and he's a really good player.
There you go. That was Mike Vrabel talking about Alvin Kamara. And I think Mike Vrabel would like this report. Jordan Schultz. This is the second time this weekend that we brought up Jordan Schultz.
It sure is. I've seen him posting a few things this week for the first time.
I think
noticed
I've
him for
heard
the first time. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard the name before, but I when Caroline brought up that he was tweeting out, I'm like, who is that? Who's that? I don't know who that is. But he says, quote, on Twitter, "I'm told Sean Payton and the Saints are preparing a game plan Sunday without Alvin Kamara, who has missed consecutive practices." Now he says pick up Mark Ingram if you can on fantasy stuff. I don't give a rat's ass about fantasy. But he's saying that it looks like Alvin Kamara is not going to play Sunday. So I'm sitting here looking at the Titans. As I said to start the show, I am looking at the Titans, and I think the Titans are the best team in the AFC. Even without Derrick Henry right now, the way the defense is playing, the fact that they're kind of in it together, what they've already accomplished, how easy the rest of the path is, I think the number one seed for the Titans in a very, very mediocre AFC is a legitimate possibility. And if you get Derrick Henry back at the end of the season, or you get Derrick Henry back for the playoffs, now we can start talking about making a run to the Super Bowl. But there's one thing the Titans are going to have to be able to do. They're going to have to be able to win games that they should win. They are favored to go beat the New Orleans Saints. They should beat the New Orleans Saints, especially with Alvin Kamara out. I don't even know who plays wide receiver for them right now. Because Michael Thomas is hurt.
Yeah, Marquez Callaway, former Vol.
Okay.
Traquan
Taysom
Smith.
Hill. Traquan Smith, who doesn't even know the playbook. He and Jameis were going at each other on the sidelines during one of those Monday night games, I think. The Saints are not very good. Now, they're okay on defense. Like when I was in college, there was a class, it's sport administration program at Louisville. Louisville, and I mean this with all due respect, Louisville is not known for its great academics, but the sport management program at Louisville, or SPAD as we called it, sport administration, the sports administration program at Louisville is considered to be one of the better ones in the country. For example, I was talking with one of the professors. I was like 20 years old, and I was nervous about my career, and I talked to one of the professors in the SPAD department, and she looked at me and she said, you remind me of a student I had at UMass by the name of Wendy Nix. And I was like, Wendy Nix? I was like, wait a minute, the Wendy Nix on TV? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, go on. So sport administration was pretty serious at Louisville, and there was a sports law class. Professor Mormon taught it, and it was everybody told me. You always ask people older than you, hey, what's the rest of the program like? And everybody told me that sport law class at Louisville was the hardest class, that she was the toughest teacher. And you better do the assignment, because she'll call on you randomly, and if you haven't done the reading, she'll ask you to leave and embarrass you in front of everybody. So every day I was dialed in at sport law. Now, it was a fun class, but I studied, I did the readings, I did all that. I got an A in sport law at Louisville. And I didn't get a lot of A's because I didn't try to get a lot of A's. Same semester, I'm taking first aid as an elective credit. I got a B+. So when you play the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football and everybody's watching and you know it's a big game, it's not hard to get up for them. When you're playing the Rams on Sunday Night Football, the number one television show in America, it's not hard to get up for that game. Jeffrey Simmons, I read a quote from somebody else who said that Jeffrey Simmons was saying all week he wasn't going to let Aaron Donald show him up on national TV. Do you think Jeffrey Simmons has the same type of attitude this week as far as the Saints are concerned? Saying, I'm not going to let Marcus Davenport or David Onyemata or DeMario Davis, I'm not going to let those guys show me up. Probably not. This Saints game is going to tell us a lot about the Titans. Titans, over the years, we've talked about it. There is a yin and a yang with the Mike Vrabel special, the winning a game that nobody thinks you have any chance to win. The other side of it is you lose games you should not lose. And this is the NFL. There are a lot of wild cards at stake right now. David Long Jr., who has been one of your best surprises this season on the defensive side of the ball, he's out. So now it's back to Rashaan Evans and Jayon Brown. Not sure I feel great about that. The running game, they say Peterson will be better this week. Foreman will get more carries this week. I don't know about that. Offensive line, I don't know about that. Jerome Boger, generally considered the worst official in the NFL. Jerome Boger is reffing this week, which makes him the ultimate wild card because his crew screws everything up. And can you get up for this game? The old Titans, the old Titans that we remember with such reverence, they played a lot of teams like this, and they won a lot of games 9-7. They beat the Buffalo Bills, who didn't have a good team coached by Greg Williams. They beat the Buffalo Bills in a frigid, I want to say early December game. Steve McNair was out, Billy Volek was in, and they had to win by the skin of their teeth. They won a lot of games at the end. That's how the NFL's built. They want everything going down to the wire. But when you're a really great team, when you're a number one seed team, you win all those games. When you play teams you should beat, even if you don't play your best, you normally win those games. Just like how they won at the Colts 2 weeks ago. That's what should happen in this game. They should win against this Saints team. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Ian brought up a great point when we were coming back from break, which is about the Ravens. And again, if you look at the AFC playoff picture, and I don't know how the Ravens' loss has affected it, I would assume, in fact, I'll pull it up right now. But if you look at the AFC playoff picture, who are the teams that really stand in the way as far as the Titans are concerned of getting that number one seed? And I certainly think that the Bills are the number one team that comes to mind, and I would agree with that as well. According to this, the Ravens are still the number 2 team because they have 6 wins. Everybody else has had a bye week. So they have 5 wins. So the Ravens are 2 at 6-3. The Chargers are 5-3 and have the Vikings this week. The Bills are 5-3 and have the Jets. And so I have no idea how the tiebreakers work for all those other teams. But Ian, you and I were talking about this. We've been waiting for the Ravens to blow out somebody this season.
Yep.
And I'm not sure every game they played a terrible game against the Colts on Monday Night Football, and they won that by the skin of their teeth.
Barely beat Detroit, had to rely on a, record-setting
call.
And a record-setting field goal at that. So, even I was expecting them to blow out Minnesota hosting Minnesota last week, coming off a long week off the Thursday night, and nothing. So I don't know. I did hear something on XM about how the Ravens, they don't have to travel very much anymore. They've pretty much got, if you look, they don't really have a whole lot of places to go. Travel for them is very light. I don't know how much we take into that account, but that could help their schedule down the stretch.
A buddy of mine texted me, and we'll take your phone, 615-737-1025. A buddy of mine texted me and said, the Ravens suck, and they could easily be 2-7. 2-point win over the awful Lions. And again, they needed a miracle non-delay of game call. And a miracle never happened before field goal in order to beat the freaking Lions, who freaking suck. 1 point win over the mediocre Chiefs, overtime win over the Colts, overtime win over the Vikings. Few coin flips go the other way, and they are at the bottom of the AFC. I think that's probably fair. I mean, I'm not going to say the Ravens suck like my friend did, but I am no longer concerned about the Ravens for the number 1 seed. Look at their schedule the rest of the way. I mean, my God. And I will say this about the Titans because it does concern me when you look at schedules. This does bother me that the Titans' schedule the rest of the way are all the cupcakes, especially at the end of the season. And I hate that because the Titans are going to have let's say the Titans roll through the rest of the season. They go 14-3. So they lose to the Steelers. And they win everything else the rest of the way, and they go 14-3. And they are the number 1 seed in the AFC. 14-3 would make them the number 1 seed in the AFC right now, no matter what else happens, because they'd have the tiebreaker over Buffalo. And Buffalo already has 3 losses. 14-3, they're the number 1 seed. They will go a month without playing a good team, and then they will have a bye week, and then they will play a team that has already has already beaten a good team and won a playoff game. And you could be facing some pretty good quarterbacks. Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. I mean, you could be that would worry me a little bit, but I will take that right now, given the fact that you're getting home field throughout. Everybody's got to beat everybody up. You get a week to get healthy and a week maybe extra to help you get Derrick Henry back. To your phones next. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. Fireball Hot Take Friday. Everybody knows that I love ice-cold Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. While you may be celebrating what is a great weekend, there is no better way to celebrate than with ice-cold Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. It goes down so smooth, and it tastes so great. That's why this weekend, going to a little hockey tomorrow, football on Sunday, no better way than to enjoy with Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. Night to night, please do responsibly and be 21 years or older to enjoy. That's Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey.
Saturday night.
The three, and Duchesne puts it in. Matt Duchesne on the rebound.
Matt Duchesne and the Predators return to home ice for a Central Division matchup with the Arizona Coyotes. Pre-game at 6, face-off at 7 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Christmas shopping starts now at Electronic Express. Get huge savings on the hottest gifts with up to 50% off in every department. 4K TVs, computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, and more. That's not all. Get up to 50% off all your appliance needs in stock and ready to deliver. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. We've got what you need this Christmas at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain, knee pain, joint pain? Listen carefully, because now there are new treatments available here. Not talking surgery or steroids. These are regenerative treatments from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Willie Donick here. QC Kinetics is the leader in these exciting biologic therapies that help restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints with lasting results. So if you've got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, joint pain that won't go away, you need to check out these new treatments with astonishing patient satisfaction reports. They can actually help your body restore and repair itself with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery. So call now to schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024. Tired of dealing with joint pain and want to get moving again? You need to learn more about how biologic therapies are changing the way we think about dealing with joint pain. It's exciting stuff, so don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here, and basketball fans celebrate the NBA's 75th anniversary season on FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can place their first bet risk-free, and if you don't win, you'll get up to $1,000 back. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, now's the perfect time to give it a shot, and they've got you taken care of on the NBA front. The point total, the rebounds, the assists, the money line, the over-under, the point spread, everything is on the table, and that's one of the many reasons I love betting with FanDuel Sportsbook. Check out my beloved Miami Heat this year. They're off to a great start, and Bam Adebayo on the rebounds, Jimmy Butler on the over on on points. Tyler Hero on the over on points as well. Something to keep in mind, but you take it any way you want to take it. They've got great live betting options and fast withdrawals as well, so keep that in mind. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up using promo code ROB to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000 and make every moment more this NBA season. Once again, that promo code is ROB. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Hey. Hey. Nice tailgate setup. Thanks. Dos Equis? Sure. Really hits the spot. Oh, yeah, that's good. Well, I hope your team never wins as long as I'm alive. Same to you.
A dose of respect. Brought to you by Dos Equis, proud sponsor of college football. Get a dose. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2021. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Dell Technologies' biggest business sale of the year has arrived. Step up your vision with top tech up to 45% off during their early access Black Friday event. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Plus, get incredible savings on Windows 11 PCs, along with servers, monitors, and docks, all with free shipping. There's also special financing with Dell Business Credit. Get started by contacting your Dell Technologies advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Tonight,
The 3-ball, yes, sir!
the MTSU Blue Raiders continue their non-conference slate at Murphy Center in Murfreesboro against Bethune-Cookman. Coverage begins at 5:30
on ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, I'm Gary Smith, head coach of Nashville SC. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
About the Saints and what they do on defense. With you watching them, what do they do that makes it so difficult to move the ball in them?
Really good defense all around, physical. They play fast. They play together. Their front is tough. You know, they're making it tough to run the football. They're rushing the passer in passing situations. They really just are a really solid defense. Linebackers are flying around making plays. You know, Demario Davis is in the backfield. He's in coverage. He's making tackles on the perimeter. Really, flying around all over the place. Secondary's physical. Do a good job of covering. Safeties come up and will make tackles and hit. So you really look at their defense. There's not a weak spot in it. And the challenge is going to be for us to go out and play really well.
There you go. That's Ryan Tannehill talking about the Saints. Tannehill excused from practice today with an illness. Vrabel asked if it was COVID-related, would not specify. I mean, personally, I have a hard time believing it is COVID-related since he just had COVID and he's vaccinated. But I don't know. That's, I guess, none of my business, according to Tim Hasselbeck. Text, phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com, 615-737-1025 on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Texter texts in and says, if we have the concerns we do with Tannehill, how can you trust the Titans? And I think that's an interesting question, right? Ryan Tannehill has been throwing interceptions at an alarming rate. He's on pace for 22 touchdowns and 15 interceptions, which would be the Miami Tannehill numbers. Regardless of whether or not he is the Miami Tannehill, that would be the Miami Tannehill production. He was 33-6 last year. You're looking at essentially 22-15 right now. Not good enough. But the reason is you have to ask yourself, with this defense, can the Titans beat all the teams that they are better than? And right now, they're better than every team left on their schedule. Every power ranking, not that those matter, but every power ranking says that the Titans are better. And I think in a lot of cases, the Titans have better players, even without Derrick Henry. I think they have better players than the Saints have this weekend. But the point is valid. How do you trust Tannehill on that? If you don't get the good Tannehill back, and now the current Tannehill, who is maybe more the Miami Tannehill, how can you trust him? Ron says, quote, I trust the Titans, but let's be honest. If this offense was healthy, we would say this is a Super Bowl team, but we're not, and I still see this team as an above-average offense. And if the defense can continue to play the way they've been playing, the Titans can still win at least 7 of the last 9 games and get the number 1 seed. Every team is dealing with something, injuries, distractions, whatever else. But I think the Titans have the easiest route to first place. But the Titans can't fall for the hype and need to stay humble. Ian, do you think the Titans are going to be able to contain themselves and stay humble now that they've gotten past the hard part of the schedule?
That is a good question. Overall, I think yes. I think overall, I do think so. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure why. I think Vrabel does a pretty good job about that.
Oh, I think he does a terrible job about that.
The week to week?
No, I think Vrabel does a terrible job of getting them up for games they should win.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess you talk with the Jets reference.
The Jets, the Bengals last year, they beat the Cowboys and the Patriots, and then they lose to the Colts and the Bills game in 2018. I mean, I can go on and on.
Yeah, I think it would be a good sign, for this team to turn the corner about winning some of these games that they're supposed to win. And if they can string together some wins here against some teams they're supposed to beat, I think the feeling should be pretty good about this team.
I think that's why this one's so important. I mean, Trevor Siemian shouldn't beat the Titans. Trevor Siemian was the quarterback of a team that had won the Super Bowl with average quarterback play the year before and an unbelievable defense. And the year after that team won the Super Bowl, he was the quarterback of that Denver team. They came in here, and they lost to Mariota and the Titans.
It does feel like the Titans would kind of have to lay an egg to lose this one.
They have no business losing this game. That's the one thing that I feel about they had no business winning last week. And I think we all know we live in a society where what goes up must come down. The Titans were so motivated to prove that they could win that game. And they did a great job last Sunday. But, I mean, there is they should win. I'm telling you all, they should win this game. And unlike before the Jets lost, which I predicted, and I came on at 2 o'clock, and I said I am scared to death they're going to lose to the Jets. I am not scared to death they're going to lose this game to the Saints. But it's like there's something in the back of my mind that is looking at me and saying, hey, you've seen this before. That's like when I asked you, do you trust the Titans? You said yes. And I hear that, and I think to myself, is that like the high school parent that thinks that their kid can do no wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like the college parent who says, oh, no, it can't be my kid that was the one that drank all that alcohol. It was somebody else's fault. Was it, Deborah?
Well, I do think some people think the Titans could lose this game. Should they?
Oh, I think they could.
Yeah.
But they have no business. No business. That's just me. No business losing this game. 615-737-1025. We'll get back to your text. We'll get back to Titans. But how about the Predators last night? My goodness, how about the Predators? Backup goalies in. They get down 2-0, and Matt Duchene carried them to victory. Crazy. I got a thought on it next. We'll get to that coming up. And speaking of the Predators, if you want to win a pair of tickets to see the Predators take on Anaheim at Bridgestone Arena on Monday, November 22nd, head over to YouTube and subscribe to the 1025 The Game YouTube page. You'll enter for your chance to see the Predators take on the Ducks live. Once you subscribe, email us at promotions@cromwellmedia.com with your YouTube handle. One winner will be chosen on Monday, November 15th. I have said multiple times that it is part of Caroline Fenton's job for more people to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And now that she's not here, I'm just going to say this. Guys, if you really like Caroline on this show, you may want to go subscribe to the YouTube channel because I'm not sure she's going to make it if you don't subscribe to the YouTube channel. So I'm just saying, that's just
cold-blooded, man. Cold-blooded.
You know what? It's easier with her not here to say that. But I just want the people to know what's at stake and why they got to go sign up for the YouTube. I'm only part kidding there. It is kind of her job, but I am kidding that we probably won't fire her, nor do I have the authority to do so. 615-737-1025, Stillman & Company. It's Fireball Hot Take Friday. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Increasing clouds this afternoon, highs in the upper 50s and lower 60s. Few passing showers possible this evening. Rainfall totals will be minimal.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Blood Assurance, the area's only nonprofit community blood center, announces the opening of their new blood center at 600A Fraser Drive in Cool Springs. Now Williamson County has a new, convenient, comfortable, state-of-the-art blood center for donors to give the gift of life. Blood Assurance centers are the only facilities in Middle Tennessee where all blood donated goes to help many of our area local hospitals. To view the center's hours and to make an appointment, visit bloodassurance.org/schedule. Give life, give blood, give local.
Here's exciting news from Genesis Diamonds, just in time for the holidays. We've just introduced our all-new luxury pre-owned Rolex collection, the largest and best selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces in Middle Tennessee. Hard to find, very sought-after timepieces. Over the past few months, we've scoured the country to find the best, most pristine, hard-to-get luxury pre-owned Rolexes, Submariners, Hulks, Batmans, Daytonas, Pepsis, and more. And next weekend, November 19th, 20th, and 21st, Genesis Diamonds is hosting our first ever exclusive luxury pre-owned Rolex event. Your chance to get the luxury pre-owned Rolex of your dreams with special financing. Imagine a pre-owned Air King for just $199 a month, or an extremely rare two-tone Daytona for less than $460 a month. Also for this event, our Rolex buyers are on site offering top dollar for your pre-owned Rolex. Come see Genesis all-new selection of certified luxury pre-owned Rolex watches November 19th, 20th, and 21st. Genesis Diamonds, your new home for luxury pre-owned Rolexes.
Mortgage rates are on the move, but you can still lower your house payment with my friends at Loan Pronto. Willie here. Call Loan Pronto now and take advantage of their super popular zero-cost refi program. So many people are doing this before the year ends. You can refi now. Get a rate with an APR in the low twos with no junk fees and no closing costs, even if you refinanced 6 months ago. Loan Pronto's all-digital process is fast and easy, virtually no paperwork required, and most loans get closed in 14 days. And if you act right now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. So call Loan Pronto now. Rates are still really low. If you're currently in the APR range of over 2.75, call now. You got nothing to lose. See how much you can save by going into the new year. Lower that house payment. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans eligible. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hi, welcome to Furniture Depot. And you, come on in. Yes.
Couches are flying off the floor at Cheyenne's Furniture Store.
Sarah, can you go over to dining sets, please?
She needs more sales associates before shoppers take their seats elsewhere.
Can somebody get me a price check on trundle beds?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Darren McFarland.
That should get you in the mood for a game tonight.
Willie Donick.
I think between 5.5 and 6 is probably in the ballpark.
Chase McCabe.
Typically, I like to take the most difficult task and do it first.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
And the Predators with the puck clear it out to center ice. Taken into the zone by Gronlund, and he will peel back.
Yeah, they peel back, get the change, get fresh legs out there.
Gronlund down the left side with Duchesne. Duchesne scores! Matt Duchesne with the overtime winner. And the Predators 2:01 into overtime win this game 4-3.
6-game trip ends the way it started. McLeod finds you in overtime, and Calgary finds you again. Tonight, 1, you thought on that coincidence at all, and then 2, especially 4 assists for Granlund tonight. What can you say about that?
Yeah, I mean, he's playing great. He's laying him out there for me in OT, and I just got to shoot him in the net. So, yeah, I mean, both goals. I mean, it's so much of him doing. I mean, especially tonight. I think obviously tonight he's at the end of a shift. He kind of baits them in and then takes off, and I was able to read off him, and he just made a beautiful sauce right on my tape. I was able to get it to go home.
That was Matt Duchesne, the Predators in the road trip. 17 points for the season, 1 point out of first place. Now, again, they've got the other teams have games in hand, but 1 point out of first place in the Central Division, and they play 1-11-1 Arizona for 3 freaking points. They play that team Good God. The Predators have more points in the last 3 days than the Arizona Coyotes have for the entire season. They play that team tomorrow night. So there is a legitimate chance that the Predators are in first place come Sunday morning. And you know what's funny is at the beginning of the year, I actually had some talks with people about trying to gauge the interest of the fan base. Preds fans are passionate, but it's the start of the season. The local football team's really, really good. What's the excitement level for the Preds? And I'm kind of trying to figure it out, and I'm seeing kind of some of the numbers here and numbers there. I'm like trying to figure out, how into it are people going to be this season, and is the team going to be what they want it to be? And, okay, sitting there, watching all this. Now the CMA road trip is over, and my phone's getting blown up for tickets. Hey, you got tickets for this game? You got ticket coming up? You got ticket? I am not Ticketmaster, everybody. But apparently some people think I am, which tells me the interest is back because, surprise, the team is good. They are a good hockey team. They are fun to watch. And last night was a game that had set up, and 9 times out of 10, you lose that game. The best player on the team is the goalie, UC Saros. He's out. In is David Riddick, who I barely know anything about. He's in the net. You're on the road at the best team in the division, who's red hot, who's rested, who's got a really good goaltender. You're on the back end of a back-to-back. You already won the first game. You've already had a successful road trip. You finally get to come home and stay home for a couple of days. Those are the games you lose. First line, Philip Forsberg's out. Nick Cousins is out. Mark Borowiecki is out. So you're playing guys like Michael McCarron and Philip Myers and guys that aren't, generally speaking, any good. And that's a game you lose. And yet this team, with how hard they play, found a way to win. They are a fun team to watch. And I will say this about Matt Duchene. I wrote off Matt Duchene. You wrote off Matt Duchene. They wrote off Matt Duchene. And he is lighting it up. He is on pace for 47 goals this season. Adam Vingan wrote in The Athletic over the weekend he wants to see another month of this out of Duchene before he will believe that Duchene has turned a corner. Crispy said another month, give it a couple of more months. Talked to somebody today who said, now it just get 60 more games like this out of Matt Duchene, we'll be cooking. But there is something about this where we said when they signed him, hey, if you're going to pay him all this money and you're going to buy into this and you believe that he is the missing link, which is what they believed, if you're going to think this is the missing link, then he better be it. And through the first 3 years of this, he was not. Actually, 2 years. Through the first 2 years of this, he was not. I had given up any faith that he would be it. But I think Matt Duchene maybe ate a little bit of humble pie over the offseason. I don't think Matt Duchene listens to talk radio. I don't think he reads what's written. I don't think he does that. I think Matt Duchene thought he'd been playing hard and maybe even playing well in the years that people here were upset with his production. I think he thought he was playing okay. I think he's had kind of a realization, hey, everybody feels this way about your performance. And this year, he's brought it up a notch. And to his credit, the coaching staff has actually put him on lines with players that can help him put the puck in the back of the net. But Duchene was asked about that. You're red hot right now. This is what he said last night after the game.
I really haven't changed anything really in terms of my approach, my mentality. Just trying to get better and, I'm trying to shoot more, that's for sure. But I'm also getting more, looks. And it feels good. I mean, I've preached it. I've been asked about lack of production for a million times the last 2 years. And I've preached over and over that, if the habits are there, eventually it'll go. So it's nice to be rewarded. And the big thing for me is, I'm not satisfied at all. I just want to keep going and keep helping this team win. And that's the most important thing. And, you score in losses, it doesn't mean nearly as much as when you score in wins and help the team win.
I have talked to people inside that organization that have told me Matt Duchene thinks he's played pretty well the first 2 years of this contract. And kind of was disappointed in the fact that nobody else felt that way. And you heard him right there saying, yeah, I'm getting a little bit better looks this year. a.k.a. coaches putting me on lines with guys I want to be on who are giving me opportunities, i.e. Joe Hansen and Grandlin. But Matt Duchene thought he played pretty well those first 2 years. And I think there were a lot of people over there that almost looked at themselves and said, wait a minute, are we talking about the same person? Are we talking about you? And maybe Matt Duchene's right. Like maybe Matt Duchene, who felt for 2 years that he was playing well, felt that, hey, I know the goals aren't there, but I'm playing well. Maybe he was right. Maybe this was a, hey, like he just said, you know that when the habits are there, ultimately it will happen. Maybe the coach was wrong and always trying to bench him to try to get him to play better, moving him down on a line and playing with guys that weren't that good. And maybe he was right. I'm not saying he was definitely right, but maybe he was. I'll say this. It's a lot more palatable to think about $8 million for the next 6 years, 5 years, when he's playing like he is right now. And he is carrying the team right now. He and Tanner Jeannot. And that's what guys who make a lot of money are supposed to do. That's what big boy forwards, and I'm not saying Duchene is one yet, though 47 goals would make you a big boy forward. That's what big boy forwards do. And it's fun to watch. And just like I told you, there are people now, hey, you got tickets for the game Saturday? You got tickets for the game on Monday? I got tickets. Oh, now they want to come back because they've got somebody lighting up the goals, lighting up the lamp. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. Ian, where would you have said that the Baltimore Ravens belonged in terms of the hierarchy of the AFC 24 hours ago?
Top 3.
And I'm guessing you don't feel that way anymore.
I mean, I would probably drop them. I mean, after last night, you have to drop them a couple bit. Yeah.
Coming up next, even if the Titans have to take a step back without Derrick Henry, who's good in the AFC? Who else is out there in the hierarchy of the AFC that could take that number one spot from them? I'll rank them next. Stillman & Company, 615-737-1025, Fireball Hot Take Friday. It's ESPN 1025 The Game. Boll and Branch Sheets. That's right. Everybody loves Boll and Branch Sheets. They are the best. I have a pair of Boll and Branch sheets. Oh, my goodness. I put them on the bed last night. I slept on them, and I felt like I was an angel sleeping on a cloud. That must be what it's like for the ultimate sleep, which is these Boll and Branch sheets. It's just so nice. Oh, my goodness. And it's the best gift that you can give. Brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, parents. Highest quality sheets, blankets, pillows, and throws. Plus, their holiday packaging makes your gift look and feel special. That's right. For me, I'm the kind of person who just wants to get in bed and feel super comfortable, and I definitely don't want to be itchy throughout the night. With these organic cotton sheets from Boll and Branch, you won't feel that way. You literally feel like you're a king when you sleep on these sheets. Buttery, soft, lightweight, made with 100% organic cotton weave that feels incredible in all seasons. Comes in a wide range of colors and sizes from twin up to California King, and they are completely toxin-free and fair trade certified. Treat yourself and your loved ones to the new standard in bedding from Boll and Branch. These gifts come wrapped and ready to roll with their special holiday packaging. Order by December 19th for guaranteed delivery by Christmas. Get 20% off your first set of sheets with the promo code JARED, J-A-R-E-D, at bollandbranch.com. That's BOLL and branch.com. Promo code JARED. See site for details. Exclusions may apply.
The MTSU Blue Raiders live here.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee! 3-ball, yes, sir!
And when you're in the borough, tune us in on 97.5.
In the end zone, caught, touchdown!
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Gary Ashton here. Most people in Nashville know me as the don't sell without the intel and the guaranteed offer guy. But despite my accent, I'm also 100% guaranteed Nashville. I'm a guaranteed musician, a guaranteed dog lover, and you're also guaranteed to see me at every Titans and Preds game. Guaranteed offer means the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage We'll sell your house for top dollar with no cleaning, staging, showings, or open houses, and give you up to 90 days to close. So there's plenty of time to find your next home. Guaranteed Nashville means my team lives here and loves it here. We've served Nashville for over 20 years, and we're passionate about helping the people we call neighbors and friends, which is why we've had a long-standing tradition of donating to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. If you're thinking about a guaranteed offer, get the only one that's guaranteed Nashville. Request a no-obligation offer by calling 615-301-1650 or go to GaryAshton.com today. Remember, Gary Ashton, guaranteed Nashville.
Family Leisure's Ultimate Game Room Sale is back.
Huge discounts up to 50% off on all kinds of game room furniture and accessories.
Play pool tables from Brunswick and Legacy Pool Tables. Prices starting as low as $14.99 installed.
Perfect for Christmas.
Family Leisure has huge savings on massage chairs. Full body massage chairs starting at only $9.99. 4D massage chair more than half off at $29.99.
Family Leisure guarantees to beat anyone's advertised home theater seating prices. Shuffleboards, foosball, and air hockey tables on sale as well.
That's Family Leisure at both locations, Franklin and Antioch.
Well, here we are at Pour Vu. Any great words of wisdom as we peruse the 10,000 square feet of wine, spirits, beers for our tailgating and upcoming holiday parties?
One thing, great minds drink alike, huh?
Nice. Wow, look at all the wine.
Hey, don't forget to buy a bottle from Mom. Remember, you're the reason she drinks.
Hey!
Hey, check it out. Pour Vu has their own app, curbside, and home delivery. Tonight, I will be having my favorite drink. It's called A Lot.
I only drink on days that begin with T. Today, tomorrow.
Well, you're in luck because Pour Vu's new tasting bar is in effect Thursday through Saturday, right next to the humidor.
Party supplies with mixers, hard to find small batch specialties, and tequila.
I am telling you, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy tequila, and that's kind of the same thing, right?
Tequila, because no good story ever starts with that one time I ate salad.
Right? Pour Vu means for you. They really have the best selection, service, and knowledge we didn't find at the big box stores.
May all your days be filled with umbrella drinks.
Pour Vu, open 7 days a week at Indian Lake Boulevard, exit 7 off Vietnam Vets in Hendersonville.
Calling all sweet tooths, head to Nashville Toffee Company, a place where rich, chocolatey daydreams are created from a secret family recipe generations in the making. Their toffees and candies are handcrafted in Nashville using all natural, kosher-certified ingredients. Sweet creamery butter, pure cane sugar, premium roasted nuts, deep rich chocolate, and sea salt. Visit NashvilleToffeeCompany.com or drop by their headquarters on Air Lane Drive for a positively hassle-free shopping experience. Whether you're buying for 1 or 100, Nashville Toffee Company is here to make your holiday gift giving easy.
Mark Howard here to tell you about my friends at Apple Collision Centers. We all know being in a collision is not fun. Neither is all the stress that comes with it, and that's where Apple Collision comes in. Let them take care of everything for you. That's insurance, repair, and your rental details. They've got 3 convenient locations in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Their managers, Tommy Rippey, Daniel Neville, and Chris Brooks and Marty Denson, combined for over 75 years experience. So stop in today and tell them Mark sent you. Online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne. Online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN streaming, ESPN 102.5 The Game streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Fireball Hot Take Friday. Caroline Fenton is out today. By the way, she's in Knoxville, where the Vols take on Georgia. I think it is well documented that Dylan from Nashville is a humongous Vols fan. And I feel bad for Caroline because her dad and her her dad and boyfriend, my bad. Her dad and boyfriend, who are both great guys, but are just humongous, like over-the-top Vol fans. That she has to, like, deal with that on a daily basis. It's like essentially living with callers. He has already texted me on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. She texted me earlier a picture of a bunch of little Fireball mini shots. And then he texted me an hour later and said, Vols money line.
Is that like a real-life Feinbaum show?
I would have to believe so, yeah, but take out all the other colleges. It's just the Vols.
Just a Tennessee Feinbaum show.
It's just the Vols. Before Caroline left my house the other night, we were like talking about all kinds of stuff, and I was like, yeah, don't let Dylan get too crazy about Tennessee. And she goes, honestly, he is legitimately talking about, well, Georgia, like they're due to overlook a game. They overlook a game every year, and our offense. And I was like, oh, goodness. So she texted me an hour ago about Fireball, and he just texted me Vols money line. So that tells me where that's going right now. So the Ravens get smoked last night by Tua and the Dolphins. Now, I said this yesterday on the show. I don't watch enough of Tua to know why he stinks, or if he actually stinks, or if it's just the media looking at box score saying, that guy stinks. I don't know. I don't watch enough Dolphins. But Tua went in the game last night, and he lit them up. And the Ravens scored 3 points at halftime. And I've been watching the Ravens. I watched them Sunday against Minnesota. And I'm like, the Ravens are very good. I watched the Colts after they puked away the game on Monday Night Football to the Ravens. And all TV wanted to talk about was Lamar Jackson, 400 yards. I'm like, whoa now. Whoa now. So I think we can fairly say the Ravens no longer belong in the number 1 seed discussion with the Tennessee Titans. Their schedule the rest of the way is brutal. AFC North teams, Cleveland, Cincinnati, 2 with the Steelers. NFC, they play the Rams and the Packers. Goodbye, Lamar. So if they're out, who else is in competition for the number 1 spot in the AFC? Who else is in competition as far as getting to a Super Bowl would be concerned, especially if you get Derrick Henry back? But right now, even if you don't, who else is in consideration with the Titans? So I've ranked it. By the way, the odds, the New York Times playoff simulator is back. The odds for teams to get the number 1 seed in the AFC, the Bills are at 12%. I'm guessing, this says it was updated November 7th. So this was before the loss yesterday. I would love to know what the Ravens' loss did in terms of dropping their chances. They had 18%. The Titans had 41% odds to win to get the number 1 seed in the AFC. I'm guessing the Ravens' loss drops them significantly, and it probably puts the Titans somewhere around 50%. So I have ranked them. I've decided to get rid of all the teams that I don't think are any good, that we all know aren't good, like the Texans, the Jags, the Broncos, whatever. If they're not included in this list, then they're not a consideration in terms of worried about for the number 1 seed for the Titans. So I have ranked them starting at 7 all the way to the top of the AFC. This is how I think the AFC feels right now. So we start at the bottom with the playoff-ish team that's most likely to give the Titans, or least likely, I should say, to give the Titans a run for their money for the number 1 seed.
Number 7.
The Chiefs. The Chiefs stink, and they lose way too many games, and they've already lost a lot of games. And they play good quarterbacks. Derek Carr, not a bad quarterback the rest of the way. Justin Herbert, already beat him once. Not a bad quarterback. They've got a number 1 schedule because they were the top team in the West last year. They're not very good, and they're not very good on either line. Kansas City, it wouldn't surprise me if they found their way into the playoffs because they still got talented guys, but already having lost to the Titans and the amount of losses the Chiefs have, I don't see the Chiefs as a threat for the number 1 seed.
Number 6.
Number 6, the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick won an impressive game on the road against the Chargers, and then they embarrassed a terrible Panther team in Sam Darnold. But I'm not going to get too caught up in a team that doesn't have much at wide receiver, doesn't have much of a running game, and has a rookie quarterback. Titans go to Foxborough. I think if they were to play the Patriots in Foxborough today without Derrick Henry, I think it would be a pick 'em. And a lot of that is because of Belichick. But as far as the Patriots, with their schedule, 2 matchups left with Buffalo, I have a hard time seeing a rookie quarterback competing for the number 1 seed.
Number 5.
I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns. I think the Cleveland Browns got some good players. And so when I look at the Cleveland Browns, I think Baker Mayfield gets more or does not get enough credit and gets more criticism than a young quarterback who has had to deal with the amount of crap that he has had to deal with deserves. Nick Chubb's out right now, but they've got a great running game when he's there. They've got a good offensive line. They've got great players on defense, like Myles Garrett. I think the Browns, the injury bug hit them. I think the expectations were a little too much for them after they made the playoffs last year, but ultimately I still feel like the Browns are better than some of those other teams.
Number 4.
I'm going to go with the Steelers. I don't know why I'm going with the Steelers, but I think they're better than the Ravens. They needed old man Tony Corrente to help them out on Monday night, and I don't think any of us think that Bears team is very good, but there's something about a Tomlin team that no matter how good or how bad they are, they never go away. Remember 2 years ago when the Titans were tooth and nail with the Steelers at the end of the season for a spot in the playoffs? And that was a Steeler team that lost Big Ben in September. They were running Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges out there, and they still had a decent team. So while I don't like the talent on the Steelers, I think their offensive line is a mess. I don't think they can score enough points. I know not to doubt Tomlin.
Number 3.
This was tough for me. I'm going to go with the Chargers, which means that I'm taking the Ravens and the Raiders out of the equation as far as teams that I could see making a difference. I just think the Ravens aren't very good. Their schedule is going to be really tough the rest of the way. And I think the Raiders have a lot of problems that are not their fault. John Gruden's emails get leaked. Henry Ruggs driving 153 miles per hour. That's a lot to deal with. But I'm going to take them out. I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think they've got a good quarterback, and that's what probably matters the most, quarterback play. They've got holes on their roster. Their special teams are a mess, and their defense has injury problems. But I still think the Chargers are a decent enough team, and they host teams at SoFi Stadium, so you got to fly all the way across the country. Their schedule is tough down the stretch, and I don't think they're much of a competition for the number 1 seed, but I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Number 2.
I'm going to go with the Bills. Even though I think the Bills' schedule looks harder now than it did 3 weeks ago, and the Bills as a team don't look like they did 3 weeks ago, and they lost to the Jags. But for the most part, they play in a very winnable division, a very easy division, and they've played a lot of good teams already. They've lost to the Titans. They've lost to the Steelers. Now the Jags, not so much. But I could see them losing 2 more games. But for the most part, Buffalo's got a good quarterback. They've got a good team. They've been there before. They've got a good coach. I think Buffalo is the team Titan fans have to look out for the most.
Number 1.
I think it's the Titans, and I don't think it's even close. The Titans have beaten good teams this year. The Titans have essentially already won their division. And the Titans, knock on wood, this season outside of the Jets game, seem to find ways to win games against teams they should beat. I know Derrick Henry's not there. We don't know when he's coming back, but they're playing teams that they don't even need Derrick Henry to beat, and the defense looks so much better than it has probably ever since Vrabel got here. This looks like the best defense they've had. Now, will it continue? We'll see. But I don't think it's even close. I think the Titans are clearly the number 1 team there. So that's the AFC kind of rankings. Who do you worry about? Where do they go here? Where do they go there? Breaking news, Alvin Kamara is out for Sunday's game against the Titans. Is that the Saints announced that, or is that being reported by somebody?
That is on the official injury report. And Taron Armstead, their tackle, is also out for the Saints.
Titans got to win this game. And I'm not saying they will. Titans got to win this game Sunday. No Alvin Kamara, no quarterback you're playing. You got to win this game. Corey Curtis, News 2, joins us next on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Stillman and Company right here on ESPN 1025. The Game. Let me tell all the fine folks out there, go to thegamenashville.com/deals to check out Nashville's best deal. The deal of this week is a $30 gift card for only $15 to the Beanbag Coffee and Tea Shop. Your favorite community coffee and tea shop offers a variety of coffee flavors and shine-worthy teas. The Beanbag is a great place to have a meeting while sipping on a cup of hot or cold coffee or tea. Enjoy a delicious breakfast sandwich, cheddar broccoli soup, turkey sandwiches, and more. Get your deal now at thegamenashville.com/deals.
Tannehill through his reads to the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown.
Is a 6th straight win in store for the Two-Tone Blue?
Perfectly thrown. Touchdown Saints.
Or will the New Orleans Saints pour a bucket of ice on the Titans' hot streak?
Okay, you made your point.
Tune in all day Monday for full reaction to Titans Saints.
Who wants to talk football?
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Dan Abrams and his live PD sidekick Styx return in a new program, Dan Abrams Live, weeknights at 8, 7 Central on News Nation.
Celebrate Thanksgiving with Social Furniture and save up to 70% off all furniture. They have sofas, sectionals with chase lounge, and recliners that are all push-button electric and wall away. They have all colors to choose from for your comfort watching any hockey game. All of them are plus leather, microfiber, and Chanel's. They have same-day delivery with no down payments and no interest. Forget the big box store. Support local. Support social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Here's exciting news from Genesis Diamonds, just in time for the holidays. We've just introduced our all-new luxury pre-owned Rolex collection, the largest and best selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces in Middle Tennessee. Hard to find, very sought-after timepieces. Over the past few months, we've scoured the country to find the best, most pristine, hard-to-get luxury pre-owned Rolexes, Submariners, Hulks, Batmans, Daytonas, Pepsis, and more. And next weekend, November 19th, 20th, and 21st, Genesis Diamonds is hosting our first ever exclusive luxury pre-owned Rolex event. Your chance to get the luxury pre-owned Rolex of your dreams with special financing. Imagine a pre-owned Air King for just $199 a month, or an extremely rare two-tone Daytona for less than $460 a month. Also for this event, our Rolex buyers are on site offering top dollar for your pre-owned Rolex. Come see Genesis all-new selection of certified luxury pre-owned Rolex watches November 19th, 20th, and 21st. Genesis Diamonds, your new home for luxury pre-owned Rolexes.
Treating erectile dysfunction with acoustic wave therapy has been getting a lot of attention lately. But you should know that some are promising results we just haven't seen and charging a lot of money for the treatments as well. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. And if you're looking at acoustic wave therapy or any option to help your ED, you really should call us first. Unlike wave therapy only clinics, the Tennessee Men's Clinic wave therapy protocols do use acoustic wave technology. But we also often combine it with other treatments that can give most of our patients far higher satisfaction rates. There is no surgery nor any type of invasive procedure required. And even better, depending on your treatment strategy and with our urologist and provider's guidance, you can likely have sex the day after your appointment. We even have other treatments that can help you last up to an hour. Plus, for a limited time, we're waiving our normal appointment charge, which includes a PSA and T test, and offering a free ultrasound, altogether nearly a $400 value, for free. So make an appointment today. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments, extra results vary.
Dell Technologies' biggest business sale of the year has arrived. Step up your vision with top tech up to 45% off during their early access Black Friday event. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Plus, get incredible savings on Windows 11 PCs, along with servers, monitors, and docks, all with free shipping. There's also special financing with Dell Business Credit. Get started by contacting your Dell Technologies advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving. Fireball Hot Take Friday. The New Orleans Saints have announced that Alvin Kamara is out. That's right, out for Sunday's game. I'm looking at some of the names. I guess they're having press conferences in New Orleans right now. Trevor Siemian. So they had Sean Payton meet with the media. Then Trevor Siemian, we know he's not very good. Kenny Stills, last year nobody wanted. P.J. Williams, whoever the hell that is, I'm sure he's good. Let's see, J.T. Gray, I don't know who that is. And Mark Ingram. So there you go. Bunch of names from the past, guys that, it is a ragtag bunch for New Orleans that's coming in here. And yet, let's not forget that they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2 weeks ago in New Orleans. Corey Curtis joins us now, News 2. So, Corey, let's start with this. I'm telling you right now, before the season, Drew Brees retires. Jameis Winston doesn't make that much of a difference. He gets hurt. Trevor Siemian's the quarterback. Alvin Kamara's out. The Titans should beat the Saints by how much with Derrick Henry, but then still, how much without Derrick Henry?
So I'm predicting how much with and without him?
No, just without.
Okay. Well, look, I think this is a rock fight is what it's looking like. So, I've made my prediction already. And so I'm going to put it at I'm going to go for a 9-point win.
I think a lot of people can live with that. The line's 2.5. I look at this game, Corey, and I think to myself, this is the one that's going to tell us who the Titans really are.
I agree.
You know,
I think
before,
you're right.
and I get the fact that the Titans went to L.A. on national TV and everybody was doubting them because Derrick Henry was out. But I read an article, I think Ben Arthur wrote it, where somebody told him that Jeffrey Simmons was saying all week, I'm not going to let Aaron Donald, show me out on Sunday Night Football. Do you think Jeffrey Simmons is as motivated this week? And that's kind of how I look at the whole team, not to, point the finger at Simmons. But I got a little nervous in the NBC postgame when Byard was talking about, take your power rankings and shove them because we're the team that's 7-2. And I'm like, guys, the season is not over. You did not win the Super Bowl. You got to get ready for the Saints. I mean, I think the Saints are going to give you a good fight. They've got a good defense. This one, I think, worries me, Corey.
I totally agree with everything that you just said because, Mike Vrabel, we've talked about it. He got 18 upset wins? He is really good at getting his team focused when they're perceived to be up against it. And where you're like, I don't know how they're going to pull this one out, or they have no chance. That's when he's been at his very best in getting this team locked in. And look, this isn't the Jets. This isn't the Jags. This isn't the Texans. This team is they're 5-3, right? And they just knocked off a couple. They won 4 in a row, including the Bucs. They're a good team, and yeah, they've got injuries. You know who else has injuries? Tennessee Titans, and they're winning games. So Mike Vrabel can use his own team as an example as to how dangerous this team is. But I agree with you from this aspect. They've won 4 in a row. Or 5 in a row. They're riding high. They're a favorite this week. The other team doesn't have their starting quarterback. This is a game you need to win, okay? And they haven't really played this game. And in the past, maybe this isn't the game that they played their very best in. So I agree with you completely from the aspect of this is going to be a very good sign about this team's maturity. Now, I think their ability to stack wins the last few weeks was also a good sign. But, again, those are the situations where Vrabel has been very good about getting this team focused and locked in. So this is a whole nother test. This Saints team can play defense. Demario Davis is a very bad man. Cam Jordan has been a very good player for a long time. The Titans play a lot of games where they're simply tougher than the other team. They get in that barroom brawl and they just beat people down. And in the fourth quarter, they're the last man standing. This team is happy to play that game. And that's what I'm looking forward to see what the fourth quarter of this game looks like.
Corey Curtis brought to you by Invigorate Health and Mount Juliet. Look and feel your best with IV therapy, medical weight loss, testosterone, health and wellness, and body shaping treatments. InvigorateHealthTN.com for more info. I was actually over at Invigorate Health today. Love those fine folks over there. What do you make of Tannehill, the illness that kind of got everybody all worried for 30 minutes? Yeah. Vrabel says, he will not have a designation on the injury report, so he's expected to play. But what do you make of the offense with Tannehill? They were not impressive Sunday night against the Rams.
Well, I look, I know what you've said all week about Ryan Tannehill, and there's a lot to agree with, maybe some to disagree with. But the bottom line is that's one of the best fronts in the NFL. They're facing another good front. And if they've got to roll with Bobby Hart again at left tackle, it's going to be a struggle, okay? Because unless you're going to glue a tight end to his hip, it's going to be a struggle. They need Taylor Lewan out there. And as well as Aaron Brewer played, I'd like to see Nate Davis out there because regardless of what Tannehill did or doesn't do, they need to be able to run the football. Okay, and this is a team that's giving up less than 80 yards rushing a game. I think it's in the neighborhood 73, 74 yards, and is number 1 in the league. And if they can't run the football, it's going to make their life considerably harder. And I don't think they have to have a huge day running the football, but they've got to at least support the passing game with the run game. But this is what we've talked about for a while. When things go south, can Ryan Tannehill carry the team? And, this is his point. This is where he gets to prove it. This is where he gets to show it. And that's not me doubting him. That's not me criticizing him. But if you want to be considered great or one of the elite of the game, when the horse is down, you put the team on your back and you say, guys, I got you. Last week the defense did it, and Tannehill needs to do it this week.
Corey Curtis, News 2, our guest. What about the rest of the offense? The old running back, Adrian Peterson, did not look impressive Sunday night. Then again, it was his first game, and your point about the Rams front is valid. I thought Deontay Foreman ran the ball pretty well, and then they didn't give it to him at the end of the game, which told me that I'm not sure they trust him not to fumble, because I would not have given the ball to Peterson at the end of the game when you were trying to run out the clock, and they very adamantly were giving the ball to Peterson, which makes me think they trusted him to protect the ball more than Foreman. I just, it looks like Julio Jones probably isn't going to play Sunday. Other than A.J., I don't know how this team's going to move the ball consistently.
Well, what's the one thing they always say when people say, have you met Adrian Peterson? They say, don't shake his hand, right?
Yep.
Don't shake his hand. It's a death grip. That's why he's in the game in the fourth quarter, because his hands are death grips, and they know he's not going to fumble the football. Does that mean Deontay Foreman's going to fumble it? I don't know. I don't think so. I thought Foreman looked good, and I thought Foreman would look good. I've always liked Foreman. I mean, I've liked him coming out of college. He was on my Heisman ballot. And he is a big, big dude. He's 240 pounds. And we talked about this last week, how I like that they brought two bruising guys in to kind of continue, what they're doing. So I think they can run it a lot better. I think Adrian Peterson, he's not going to be explosive like Derrick Henry. I think he can be more than what we saw. I don't know how much more. But I think he can be more than what we saw. And, again, this is another one of the best fronts in the National Football League. They're giving up 73 yards rushing per game. So I don't hate what they've got up there. It's not spectacular, but they didn't bring it in to be so spectacular. They brought it in to be tough. They brought it in to wear people out. And so I'm anxious to see if they can stay on the field longer and get more carries in this game. Having Taylor Lewan out there, along with Nate Davis, I think can go further in that way. But they need to move the chains, and they need to get those guys some more carries.
What do you make of the Julio Jones injury? TD had the video of it yesterday.
Yeah, they
were talking, I think it was, I want to say, I forget who asked him, but today A.J. Brown said he doesn't even want to use the word hamstring. He thinks it's a bad word because he's heard it so much. What do you make of the latest on Julio?
I just look. I'm not Dr. Jared. I'm not. But I mean,
you're not even Joe Rogan.
I'm not even Joe Rogan or Aaron Rodgers. All right, I'm neither. I'm just a guy who knows this. That when they signed Julio Jones, I asked you what's the over and under on the number of practices this year he does. We said 8. That was the over and under because he gets hurt so much. And look, he clearly grimaced at practice, all right, and then was seeing trainers. So he clearly tweaked. And I don't know if you can say hamstrings are fragile, all right, but you have to wonder if his hamstrings are just, like, fragile at this point because he had it all last year, and then, he had all offseason to rest and get them better, and it's just one aggravation after another, and it's to the point now where they're 7-2. You've got an NFC, and then who they got? The Texans after this. They just need to shut him down through the bye. I mean, that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. If you're going to have him for the stretch run in the playoffs, you want him as healthy as possible. I think it's just time to shut him down for that duration of time and just go, because this week-to-week thing. You need somebody you can count on, and that's not me saying you can't count on Julio Jones. You need to put him in as good of a position as possible to play out the string. And I think right now that's probably, and again, I'm not his doctor, I'm just going by what's happening here, is shutting him down through the bye.
I'll say it. You can't count on Julio Jones. I mean, you can't. And it's not his fault. He's not trying to be hurt. But you can't. How can you count on him? The guy's always freaking out. You can't count on him? You can't count on Taylor Lewan? I mean, you can't count on those guys. I can count on Kevin Byard.
Yeah.
I can count on Byard, and I hate to say it, but because he's driving me crazy with you can count on Tannehill, but there's just some guys you just cannot count on. You can't count on Saffold. He gets hurt. Hey, you can count on Saffold to get hurt every game.
Yes, he goes down every game, and he gets back in there. The guys
and
are
Albert
held together
Hainsworth.
by duct tape.
He and Albert Hainsworth. Corey Curtis, News 2, presented by Invigorate Health. Fireball Hot Take Friday. What is your hot take this week?
Sometimes David Poyle does no more.
I will say this. The Tanner Jeannot thing's pretty good. Tanner Jeannot's pretty good.
He's doing great. Look, is he better this year than I expected? Heck yeah.
Oh, he's better than – I bet he's better than they expected, honestly. Like, I think they probably feel great about it because they made that choice. And you got to give credit where credit's due. Because you take the risk on a Kyle Turris trade and it doesn't work out, everyone's going to look at you like a dummy. You take this risk and it doesn't work out, we're going to double down and call you dummy, but we called you a dummy then, and so far it's worked out. It's looked great. Calle Yarncroke does not have a goal in 8 games with the Seattle Kraken.
Wow.
This looks like a masterful decision.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this, though.
Yeah.
Matt Duchene's carrying that team right now.
Oh,
that's incredible.
No, it is incredible. And, this is what we've been waiting for. But, and yes, Duchene's, you're absolutely right. But Johansson's got 5 goals. When was the last time he had 5 goals at this point of the season? It's amazing to see him shooting the puck. And they're so much further along in kind of their redefinition of their team than we expected at this point. It's kind of shocking. It really is.
I read Tim Grover's book. Tim Grover's Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant's trainer. And in one of his books, he talked about the fact that every game that Michael Jordan prepared for, it's take a regular season Tuesday night at Milwaukee. Like, Michael Jordan knew that everybody in that building was going to see Michael Jordan. Then that's why he played 82 games a year, and that's why Michael always – because he knew that every single person there was there to see Michael Jordan, even on a Tuesday night in November. And I was telling somebody that has done a lot of work with Johansson, and I think really helped Johansson get to this level. And I said, when I watch Ryan Johansson play right now, Corey, I feel like I see somebody who realizes, hey, I can't take games in November off anymore. And that's how I feel about Ryan Johansson. And to your point, I've been talking about Duchene, but I think Johansson's been fantastic so far this year.
Look, tell me somebody on that team who's not playing well right now. Ben Harper maybe. I don't know.
He sucks.
But the guys, and this has been my point with every game, the guys who are supposed to be scoring, the guys who need to be scoring, are scoring. And it's that simple. Even Jeannot has a nice assist to Matt Duchene the other night. Where he gives it right back to him. It's been fun to watch. And, there was a lot of pressure on this team. There's a lot of people who picked this team to be terrible, and I know there's a long way to go. I do. But, once again, David Poyle not afraid to stir the pot and change things, and it's working out for him.
Corey Curtis, presented by Invigorate Health. Corey Curtis, News 2. Corey, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, enjoy the game. Bring your rocks.
Corey Curtis, as always, it'll be a rock fight on Sunday at Nissan Stadium. I probably need to get around to invite people to the game because I think I'm going Sunday, but I haven't asked anybody if they want to go to the game, so I guess I need to get on that one. Tune into the Game of the Week on 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue. The Game of the Week is on 102.5 The Game, the Minnesota Vikings and the LA Chargers with a 3:05 kickoff right here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Coming up next, Tennessee fans, not all of them, but some of them, are maybe getting a little too excited about the Georgia game tomorrow. We will discuss that next. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Hi, I'm Jussi Saros. And this is Smashville.
Stopped by Saros. Puck checked away and taken now by Mikhail Gronlund.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Hey Nashville, we think you deserve the very best driving experience, and now is the time for our Season of Change CPO event at Mercedes-Benz of Music City. When you purchase a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you're backed by the remaining new vehicle limited warranty. Once that expires, the certified pre-owned limited warranty goes into effect, providing an additional 12 months of coverage with unlimited miles. See all the perks and exceptional offers for your certified pre-owned vehicle from Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
Family Leisure's Ultimate Game Room Sale is back.
Huge discounts up to 50% off on all kinds of game room furniture and accessories.
Slate pool tables from Brunswick and Legacy pool tables. Prices starting as low as $14.99 installed.
Perfect for Christmas.
Family Leisure has huge savings on massage chairs. Full body massage chairs starting at only $9.99. 4D massage chair more than half off at $29.99.
Family Leisure guarantees to beat anyone's advertised home theater seating prices. Shuffleboards, foosball, and air hockey tables on sale as well.
That's Family Leisure at both locations, Franklin and Antioch.
Let me tell you, the most expensive mistake a homebuyer can make is not shopping for the best mortgage. Hey, I'm Roger Moore, founder and CEO of Loan Pronto. It's a fact. Homebuyers who choose Loan Pronto save an average of $3,500. That is a ton of money for furniture or moving expenses. How do we do it? First, we don't charge our clients thousands in junk lender fees and closing costs, and our all-digital platform streamlines the process so you close faster and easier. Realtors love working with us, and we will work with your existing realtor, but don't make a decision about the loan until you call us. Listen, not all mortgages are created equal, and it pays to get a second opinion. Even if you've already started the process, we promise to beat your current offer, or we will pay you $1,000 for your time. So check us out at loanpronto.com or call us today at 615-499-5780. Lower rates, lower cost, and a stress-free experience. Again, loanpronto.com or call us at 615-499-5780.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Got chronic joint pain? Not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way. And now it's available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Hey, Willie Donick here. I'm talking about new therapies. Advanced, all-natural, regenerative treatments that can not only just give you relief, but can also restore and repair damaged tissue so you can have lasting relief. If you've got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, don't just think the old ways of dealing with pain are the only ways. You need to learn more about these new biologic therapy solutions. Call now for a free consultation. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. These remarkable new treatments increase mobility, decrease pain, and help restore tissue. They actually encourage your body to heal itself. Call now and learn more about these restorative, regenerative, and revolutionary alternatives. Don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Well, I started my own restaurant because I love to cook. But that also means a lot of greasy pots and pans. And we can't waste time with endless sink changeovers. So we upgraded to Dawn Professional Pot and Pan.
Dawn Professional cleans 58% more pots and pans per sink than the leading competitor.
Less dish soap, fewer changeovers, and more time doing what we love.
Dawn Professional. It's clean. Upgraded. From P&G Professional.
This Saturday,
Haskins sneaks through. Touchdown, Michigan. Easy touchdown, and Penn State reclaims the lead.
It's a Big Ten showdown from Happy Valley as the Michigan Wolverines look to keep their playoff hopes alive at Penn State. Coverage begins at 10:30
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
What's happening in Nashville? This is Scott Van Pelt. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
A huge week right here. A great opponent in Georgia. Excited to get going this week with these guys defensively. Georgia's playing as well as anybody in the country. Personnel's really strong. All three levels of the defense and offensively, playing really efficient football. Quarterbacks making plays and their play action pass. Got to do a great job having your eyes on your key. And they're extremely physical up front and can run the football. So huge test for us. One that we're really excited about.
That was Josh Heupel, the mayor of Knoxville, after the Vols beat Kentucky, seemingly on the right path. Josh Heupel saying, Georgia's playing about good defense as anybody. Well, no, duh. The number one Georgia Bulldogs this weekend in Knoxville. Get excited about that, by the way. The number one Georgia Bulldogs. So Caroline Fenton and I were talking last night. She's out today, and she's going to the game in Knoxville. And we were talking yesterday about the game and the fact that a lot of people in her life absolutely adore the Vols to the point that it's kind of crazy. And I kind of like it because it's kind of funny, but it's also sometimes maybe not a fair representation of what Tennessee fans think. So I'm just going to ask this question, and you can text in or call in 615-737-1025. But do Tennessee fans really think that the Vols are going to beat Georgia? I know the Vol fans in her life think that the Vols are going to beat Georgia. But do Tennessee fans actually think that? Because I think one thing that we've got to understand is that while the Vols are doing great right now, they're only doing great in terms of the expectations. We didn't think Tennessee was going to have a very good team this year. They're going to go 7-5. And everybody in Knoxville loves it. Woo! 7-5. I think you should be excited about 7-5. I'm surprised they're at 7-5. Now, I think some of that has to do with Missouri being god-awful this year. But they're going to be 7-5. But there's a difference between 7-5, team going in the right direction. The players look like they actually enjoy playing for the coach. The coach isn't a total pain in the rear end. We beat Kentucky and number 1 Georgia. It's like I was talking about Alabama earlier this week. And I said, by Alabama standards, Alabama stinks. They're the number 2 team in the country. But by their standards, they're not very good. Expectations are everything in life. I've tried to tell people that time and time again. If you've got children, and you've got one child that is just bright as all get out, and you've got another one that struggles a little bit, maybe their interests lie somewhere else, my guess is when the report card comes in and the report card says B-, C+, the discussion is different with each kid. Alabama's number 2 team right now that can't stop anybody on defense and doesn't really run the football very well. I'm not sure the discussion at the report card table for Nick Saban's very good right now. I think he might be a little too stern when it comes to talking to his guys. That's why they can win a game by 55 points against Nowhere State, and he can go bananas because his expectations are really high. And the expectations for Alabama are through the roof. The expectations here at Tennessee are, can you just put out a decent team out there? The expectations for this Georgia game should not be to beat the Georgia Bulldogs. They should be to go out there and see if this offense can get guys open and score some points on what Trevor Maddich has come on this show and said is a legendary defense in the Georgia defense. That should be the expectation. And I'm cool with that. I mean, I love Josh Heupel. I think he's doing a great job. But you can't tell me that you actually think that you're going to beat the Georgia Bulldogs this weekend. There's no way you can convince me of that. Caroline made a great point off the air yesterday. She said, this Georgia team that you see right now is essentially what we're used to seeing from Alabama. Unbelievable defense. Maybe one of the best defenses in the last decade. Maybe one of the best defenses in the last 2 decades. Look at both lines that Georgia has. And look at how big and strong and fast those kids that Kirby has on each side of the ball. Look at how big and strong they are. Nobody else in the country has that. They've got a stable of running backs. They've got tons of NFL players everywhere. And they've got a mediocre to below average quarterback. Stetson Bennett, I mean, come on. But it doesn't matter because the rest of their team is so good. And that's like what Alabama looked like, not recently, where they've had quarterbacks like Tua and Jalen Hurts and even this Bryce Young kid. But remember John Parker Wilson and Greg McElroy and A.J. McCarron? Those guys were props. It's like, all right, here's the deal, Greg McElroy. Throw the ball to Julio Jones or the other 5-star receivers. Hand the ball to Mark Ingram. You got this incredible offensive line in front of you. You got a defense on the other side that's going to give up 6 points a game. And do not turn over the ball. And that's what Stetson Bennett does. This is an Alabama team. The Alabama that we see right now, they can't get lined up. They don't play defense. They're not disciplined. That's not Alabama. This is Alabama. This year's Georgia Bulldog team, they are Alabama. So let's just not get too far ahead of ourselves. Please. Let's have fair expectations for the Vols. 615-737-1025. We'll take your phones on it next. 615-737-1025. Plus, tonight There is something going on tonight in college football that better happen. We'll get to that next. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 102.5 The Game. TriStar Moving, those are my official movers. I moved with TriStar Moving over a year ago, and it was a great decision. They made the entire moving process so simple, and that's why their motto, TriStar Movers with 5-star service. From the initial phone call to the final signature, moving was a breeze. They offer home protection covering your floors, banisters, railings, door jambs, and even the doors themselves. They have a brand new state-of-the-art storage facility in Mount Juliet. They simply do it all. Their owners, Garrett and Robert, are true Nashvillians, and they hold their company to a very high standard. If you're looking to move, give my friends at TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit their website at nashvillemoving.org/radio, where you'll get 5% off your entire move. That's TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219. nashvillemoving.org/radio. Tell them Jared Stillman sent you for 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Patchy dense fog has developed for us this morning. It'll stick with us through about mid-morning, and after it clears, we're looking at clouds rolling in this afternoon with highs in the lower 60s.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Lowe's Provember event is back through November 24th. Get top values on pro brands like DeWalt and Spyder. Lowe's, the new home for pros. U.S. only.
Brian Porth back again to tell you about Dr. Kelly Rice Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. Earlier this year, Dr. Rice, I was disappointed to have a cavity filling even after brushing my teeth all the time and having regular checkups.
Ryan, cavities are like any other health condition. You don't really know you have one until it gets bad. Recently, I saw a patient for treatment that they had been putting off. Something that could have been simple to fix 6 months ago turned out to need a root canal and a crown. Postponing treatment costs more and takes time away from work.
Well, I can attest to the fact that if I had not been doing regular checkups, I may have had to get a root canal by now. But thanks to your great staff that has been taking care of me for almost 15 years, my teeth are as good as they've ever been.
Well, we do things differently. I want to let people know that if they're afraid of pain or worried about the cost, they are not alone. Don't be embarrassed. We understand. Give us a call at 615-373-4488. That's kellyerice.com.
Dr. Kelly Rice, Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine, 615-373-4488.
Whether you're driving for distance, pitching for precision, or putting to win it all, come to Edwin Watts Golf Shop to get custom fit for all your clubs throughout your bag. Hit a few balls and let our team show you the latest swing technology and data that will help optimize your game. Having each club tailored to become your gamers will help you start shooting lower scores. Let Edwin Watts Golf Shops help you make every shot the perfect one. Come in and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Whether you're vaccinated or not, it's important to know the symptoms of COVID and its variants. Fever is the leading sign of COVID and the flu, so make sure you use an accurate thermometer. Only the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer has been proven accurate, with more than 100 clinical studies. Non-contact thermometers have no clinical evidence behind them, and you cannot rely on them. Be vigilant and seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Hi, welcome to Furniture Depot. And you, come on in.
Couches are flying off the floor at Cheyenne's Furniture Store.
Sarah, can you go over to dining sets, please?
She needs more sales associates before shoppers take their seats elsewhere.
Can somebody get me a price check on trundle beds?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Robbie Stanley.
Coming in off the water. Yeah. Coming in there to tailgate.
Joe Rexrode.
That was fun.
Get your morning started with Robbie and Rexrode every weekday from 6 to 10. Presented by Volunteer State Bank on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
You're listening to Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
Join Chase McCabe tomorrow at Jonathan's in Bellevue at 7653 Highway 70 South and catch the SEC Game of the Week, Georgia and Tennessee. Enjoy some great food, beer specials, and get some game swag with Chase McCabe. So the Vols taking on Georgia. We'll go to your phones in just a second. Phone lines, by the way, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. I just want to say this. 5 o'clock tonight on ESPN2, Cincinnati kicks off against South Florida. They're a 23.5-point favorite. I have been one to bang the drum to say that Cincinnati absolutely has got to be in the playoff right now. They better win this game by 30 points. And if they don't win this game by 30 points, then I'm going to be disappointed at them. And I hate that this is the standard in college football, but apparently that's where we're at. You know, all you do is train hard, work hard, coach hard to be 1 point better than your team. Like the Titans won on Sunday by 12 points, right? And we were ecstatic. And if the Titans beat the Saints by 1 point on Sunday, we will be ecstatic. And yet I'm asking Cincinnati to go out and beat that team by 30 points. I don't think that's totally fair. Let's go to your phone. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Nate is going to kick us off here this hour on the Vols. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, guys. I don't expect Tennessee to beat Georgia, but I can see where it could happen. Georgia hasn't played a team like Tennessee this year. The Clemson team that was at the very beginning of the season is different than how Tennessee was playing. Tennessee plays with tempo, and they can go, for lack of a better term, extra tempo. Yes, Georgia has a stout defense, but if you break a couple plays, that can change a game quickly, and Tennessee can do that, and they've shown that this year.
So I actually heard this earlier today. I think it was Robbie and Rexroad. I appreciate the call, Nate. I think it was Robbie and Rexroad that were talking about it this morning. And this idea, you know, somebody texted into the show and said something about faking injuries. Like, oh, yeah, you know, are the Vols or is Georgia going to fake injuries in order to slow down that Vol tempo? And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't think Georgia has to do that. Other than their 7-point win against Clemson, which was a different Clemson. That was a, you know, top 5 Clemson team, although they suck now. Other than that, I'm looking at their schedule. They haven't played a single close game this season. I mean, not one close game. This is dominant. When we talk about what Cincinnati's got to do, and people crap on the fact that Cincinnati, well, they only beat Tulsa by 3 points or 7 points or whatever it was. 56-7 against UAB, 40-13 against South Carolina, 62-0 against Vanderbilt, 37-0 against Arkansas, 34-10 Auburn, 30-13 at Kentucky, 34-7 Florida, 43-6 against Missouri. 13 points. That's the most they've given up this year against South Carolina and Kentucky, and I'd have to go back, but I'm guessing those are fake points. Guys, like I know we love Velus Jones. I know we love Cedric Tillman. I know we love Hendon Hooker. I know we love the fact now all the running backs are hurt. But I know we love the Vols offense, and Heupel's lighting it up, and Heupel's let's calm down with the idea that the Vols are going to go in there and score a bunch of points on Georgia. I mean, you got to go into this game. See, this is why I'm enjoying the Predator season this year. Now, it would be nice if the Bally Sports app would work consistently. Last night, it did not, so I could not watch the end of the game. But this is why I'm enjoying the Predator season right now. Because I went into this year just wanting to see a team compete. That's all I wanted to see. I want to see young guys play hard. I wanted to see, you know, guys that so far had not lived up to the expectations. I'd like to see them live up to the expectations. But I just wanted to see a team compete this year. And when you watch the Predators play, boy, do they compete. Ian, you are the executive producer of the National Predators Radio Network. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the hardest a team can compete, how hard would you say the Predators compete night in and night out?
I mean, so far this season, you have to put it at least an 8.
I mean, every single game, they are out there. Even the ones they don't win, they are competing. It's fun to watch. But because my expectation was not, this team's got to win the cup, it's a lot more enjoyable. I find watching this team more enjoyable than watching the team a couple of years ago that won the Central Division, and all everybody did was just whine and complain because they couldn't score on the power play. This team is more fun because the expectations weren't as high. That's what's made the Vol season fun, is that the expectations weren't high. So when they win a game against Kentucky that they probably should not have won when you look at the stats and time of possession and total yards and total plays, and you look at a holding call at the end of the game that should have been called, and we all know it, it's fun. Like, it's a fun season. will go into the Georgia game having no expectations and just saying, hey, I'd like to see if the boys can compete. I'd like to see if this offense can get some guys open and score some points, but walk into this game thinking that, it's probably going to be 42-13. And anything better than 42-13. Like if they end up winning, let's say the Vols win Georgia wins 27-21. I think you should be through the roof with that kind of score. This is the best team in the country. And this is like LSU a couple of years ago. Now, they're not as loaded as that LSU team because that LSU offense, just look at the NFL. And LSU that year had a good defense. This Georgia team has offense. They got a great defense. But, there's not one team in the country that can compete with Georgia. That's why I always laugh when I talk about how if I was the committee, I'd have Cincinnati too. And people say, well, Alabama is the team that is most likely to beat Georgia. Okay, whatever. Nobody's beating Georgia this year. It's not going to happen. They're that good. Caleb texts into the text line. Jared, you said yesterday the Dolphins were terrible. One day you'll learn. Any given Sunday, have an opinion, but never shut the door. The Vols win a game with a game-winning field goal at the end. This is not the NFL. And by the way, I'm kind of stunned the Dolphins did win yesterday. I'm still stunned. The Dolphins won that game, and I honestly think that maybe there's a better chance, and I'm not trying to get all worked up, like maybe there's a better chance that the Dolphins have of beating the Titans later this year. No, a much better chance than the Vols have of beating Georgia. I'm not trying to sit here and say no chance. I don't want to be Mr. No Chance. I'm trying to be Mr. Realistic. And I think the idea of them beating, do not walk into this game thinking that they're going to win. Even if you are the biggest Vols fan in the world. What's the spread on the game, Ian?
20.
Okay. If you really think the Vols are going to win, take them plus 20. Do not do what Dylan in Nashville told me earlier today and take the Vols on the money line. Because it's absolutely, positively not going to happen. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. I have kind of been ignoring the text line. I will get to your Titans texts, but Ryan Tannehill missed practice today with an undisclosed illness. Mike Vrabel would not talk about it. But why this Saints game feels kind of tough as far as Tannehill's concerned, and why maybe we shouldn't have any sympathy, we'll discuss next here on Stillman and Company. Play silly underdog picks today. Pick 3 football underdog teams you think will win this week for a chance to win tickets to an upcoming sporting event or concert. Go to thegamenashville.com for more details and to play. Silly underdog picks is presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Did you see the Tennessee Titans? He has all the weapons to make it happen.
There's so much to pay attention to. Greeny from 9 to 11.
Ryan Tannehill is the most disrespected player.
Art and Han from 11 to 2.
You never stop punching. They've got to learn how to close the deal.
And the Paul Feinbaum Show afternoons from 2 to 6.
Are these legitimate contenders to the party?
Your exclusive home for ESPN Radio in the Music City.
ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical breakthrough. The Wave technology at Hillside Medical Clinic was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results in the bedroom. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Hey, it's Jared. Your body needs water. That doesn't mean it has to be boring. And I'm here to tell you to give Focus a try. Focus is a sparkling water with a spark. It's infused with a boost of natural tea caffeine, so you get clean energy without sugar, calories, or crash. Go to drinkfocus.com to find the full lineup of flavors and get them delivered right to your door. Enter promo code GAME at checkout for 15% off your first order. Focus is also available at your local Publix. That's Focus, P-H-O-C-U-S, on the web at drinkfocus.com.
Come rain or shine, high winds or mild breezes, blue skies or gray, it's a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
It's not just boughs of holly that are going to deck your halls this holiday season. It's you decking the whole house with outdoor lights and holiday decor from the Home Depot. Fill your yard with Yuletide treasure like a hand-painted LED reindeer sculpture. Want to build a snowman? You can, with our 6-foot sparkling snowman covered in lights. You can even pair it with a Disney inflatable Spin. You know, from the movie your kids still watch 3 times a day. 'Tis the season to make things jolly, and the Home Depot has everything you need to make the holidays yours. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
There's confusion about how to protect yourself from COVID. One thing is certain. Whether or not you're vaccinated, you need an accurate thermometer to check for fever, the leading sign of flu and COVID. Be vigilant and contact your medical provider at the first sign of fever. Don't rely on non-contact thermometers that have no scientific studies. Only the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer has been proven accurate in more than 100 clinical studies. Learn more at exergen.com.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman. On Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Fireball Hot Take Friday. I'm going to go ahead and break a little news here on the show, at least for the station. And when I say a little, I mean a little. Next Friday at 5 o'clock, we will be having a special. So the Stillman & Company program will be on from 2 through the 4 o'clock hour, 2 to 5. And from 5 to 7, we will have a 2-hour special called Floyd Reese, a True Titan, as we honor the legacy of the late GM here on the radio program and the radio show, but his legacy as a Titan/Oiler, the great general manager that he was. We will have tons of superstar guests who will be joining us for the special. Will be presented by Neighbors in Germantown. So we are very, very excited. That'll be next Friday. And I would say that not a day or an hour or sometimes on this show, even a segment goes by that I don't think about Floyd. And I'm going to stop talking because I'm starting to get a little teary-eyed over here. So that'll be next Friday from 5 to 7. Our crew will put a ton of work into this. It will also run several times throughout the weekend as we celebrate Floyd going into the Titans Ring of Honor. Obviously, it hurts a lot of our hearts that he won't be there on Sunday against the Texans when they honor him and put him into the Ring of Honor. But the truth is, and Ian, I think you could back me up on this, he probably wouldn't have wanted the pomp and circumstance about him anyways.
Fair.
So at least he knew. At least he knew that he was going to go into the Ring of Honor. And in the last month or so, he really didn't talk to a lot of people. And he did talk to Amy Adams Strunk. And she told him that they would be putting him in the Ring of Honor and that his legacy would be remembered for forever. So we will honor that next Friday at 5 o'clock. We will post the audio. We'll have the podcast up. And it will also be replayed all throughout the weekend honoring Floyd. So The Titans take on the Saints on Sunday. And the Saints go into this game without Alvin Kamara, without their starting quarterback, Jameis Winston. But people forget that the Saints still have a pretty good defense. They had a good defense last year. They had a good defense when they were Super Bowl contenders with Drew Brees. And they still got a pretty good defense. And the Titans don't have Derrick Henry. It's been a revolving door at left tackle with Taylor Lewan's injury. Didn't have Nate Davis last week. Don't have Derrick Henry, like I just said. Julio Jones hurt in practice with a hamstring. That's a lot to put on Ryan Tannehill. And by the way, Ryan Tannehill missed practice today with an undisclosed illness. Here was Mike Vrabel when everybody panicked that the starting quarterback might be out on Sunday.
I think it'll be an illness reported on the injury report.
Not COVID illness?
Illness.
What's your concern level for obviously a hugely significant player for the game?
No designation.
So no designation for Tannehill means he's expected to play. The only players that are designated out for the Titans, Dane Cruikshank, out for the Titans, David Long Jr., out for the Titans, Greg Maben. Questionable, there are 3 for the Titans, Rashawn Evans, who did not practice Thursday and Friday, so I'm guessing he's not going to play. Questionable, Tier Tart with a groin, who did not practice the last couple days. He probably won't play. And Julio Jones, who did not practice. He's questionable as well. I'm guessing he's not going to play. So on Sunday, Ryan Tannehill, who's probably dealing with something or probably getting over something, is going to be playing quarterback for the Tennessee Titans against a good defense in the Saints with a great pass rush and no Julio Jones and no Derrick Henry. And guess what? I hate to sound like a broken record, but he's got to find a way to get them past this Saints team. Lamar Jackson is put in a really difficult spot in Baltimore. Did you see the ball that Sammy Watkins didn't catch yesterday? I mean, I was kind of embarrassed, but I also kind of understood it. Lamar threw a ball for Sammy Watkins, a deep ball that hit the back line of the end zone. Watkins slowed up, let the ball hit the ground because his 2 options were to keep running, try to catch it, maybe run into the goalpost, keep running, try and catch it, maybe run into the wall, or make a business decision and let the ball hit the turf. Watkins chose the 3rd option. When you made as much money as him, I understand not wanting to run as fast as you can into the goalpost. I don't like it, but I understand it. But Lamar Jackson has been put in a situation in Baltimore where right now he's the entire team. His best receiver, Hollywood Brown, is so-so at best. His top target is a tight end, Mark Andrews. And their defense, you saw last night, Tua did whatever he wanted to do, and Tua's not even that good. Lamar Jackson is a one-man team. Him, the tight end, and the kicker. And guess what? When Lamar Jackson and the Ravens make the playoffs this year, and they get bounced in the first round, every hot taker on TV is going to say, Lamar can't win in the playoffs. I then worry that will start like some kind of culture battle on television where you'll get like one host calling the other host racist. That's not actually true, but anytime you say something about Lamar, it feels like it always turns into that, when in reality, Lamar really hasn't won much in the playoffs. He won 1 game here last year. Other than that, he's 1-3 as a starter in the playoffs, and they're going to go in there and they're going to get bounced. But the discussion will still be about Lamar, and that's not fair to Lamar, because if you gave Lamar Jackson the Titans defense and Derrick Henry is the running back, I think there's a chance Lamar Jackson could win a lot of games in the playoffs. So it doesn't matter that it's not fair. It is not fair that Ryan Tannehill, who was a fantastic quarterback for the last 2 years, did it with Jonnu Smith. They didn't bring him back, didn't replace him. Corey Davis didn't bring him back, barely replaced him. Dennis Kelly didn't bring him back, barely replaced him. Jack Conklin didn't bring him back 2 years ago, barely replaced him. It's not fair. It's not fair that he's playing without his best running back. But at the end of the day, this is what the league is. You are expected to win. And that's why you get paid the most money. And the most responsibility falls on you. They had a great coordinator, Arthur Smith. I think Todd Downing does a pretty good job calling plays during these games. I'm not convinced he's Arthur Smith. And I think the relationship with Tannehill is probably a little different for Todd Downing than it was with Arthur Smith and Tannehill. But it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Who was Aaron Rodgers' last offensive coordinator? I can't remember. How many coordinators has Brady had in New England? Who knows? Because nobody cares. And so here's Tannehill on an island against a really good defense with one weapon, A.J. Brown. And I think we're kind of looking at him and saying, okay, the difference between me and you, and I say you very generally, but I'm talking about you who's blown up the text line and called into the shows trying to say, defend Tannehill. Oh, it's the line's fault. It's this guy's fault. It's that guy's fault. The difference between me and that is that if they lose on Sunday, I will probably look at Tannehill and think, you couldn't get more than 13 points against the Saints? When they've got Trevor Siemian and no Alvin Kamara, who is officially out, you couldn't get more than 13 points? Because if you get like 23 points on the Saints, you will win. And so, hey, you make $30 million. You are the quarterback. Sometimes the quarterback gets the most blame. Sometimes the quarterback gets the most love. And most of the time, it's not totally fair. But this is the NFL. This time last year, I think I can tell the story. This time last year, Floyd texted in on a Monday and said, hey, I've got something I've got to get taken care of. I'm going to be out for the week. Okay. Floyd never came back. And I never made it about me, like in my own mind. Like I never thought, okay, here you are now with a really popular afternoon show, and your co-host has left, and I had an idea of what was going on. And I thought to myself, look, this isn't about you. It's about him. And hopefully he can win whatever's going on. He can win that fight, and he can come back, and we can be the same Jared and the GM that we were before. I think Jared and the GM is a top 3 all-time sports show in Nashville. Maybe a top 2. And so I'm sitting here in the middle of football season. We have advertisers who need people to listen. We have salespeople who work really hard to sell those ads. We've got a great staff here at the radio station. And now I'm doing 4 hours a day by myself. Something that I guess I had done a little bit in the past, but I wasn't prepared to do. In the middle of a good Titans football season, all of a sudden do 4 hours on air by yourself I wasn't ready for that. But nobody cared. That's the job. You have to do it. And I feel bad for Ryan Tannehill because when he had success, when he failed in Miami, I thought oftentimes Miami failed him. Adam Gase wasn't a very good coach. He had a good running back one year, Jay Ajayi. They got rid of him. They had good wide receivers, Kenny Stills and Jarvis Landry. Ultimately, they got rid of them. I always thought that Miami failed him. I always felt like they looked at Tannehill and they said, you have to be Dan Marino because that's what we want. We're drafting a quarterback high in the first round. We want Dan Marino. Tannehill played okay, threw for a bunch of passing yards, signed a big contract, but he wasn't Dan Marino. And I didn't think that was very fair. So Tannehill leaves. He comes here. He's the backup. He gets in, and he shows he's got some guts, shows he's got the poise, shows that he can lead the team, shows that he can be the perfect guy to run an offense that's centered around Derrick Henry. And I loved it. And they won games. And I thought, man, this is exactly what they need. And then Ryan Tannehill had free agency. And the Titans chose him over Tom Brady. Well, guess what? Now you're making $30 million. Now I'm choosing you over the greatest player of all time in the history of the NFL. Now my expectations are higher. You throw 165 in a playoff game against the Baltimore Ravens and my team loses because they don't score enough points, you got to do more. Well, Jared, Corey Davis, I don't care. You go into this game against the Saints and you don't have any weapons except AJ, And Ian brought up this point during the break. The Saints might just put Marshawn Lattimore on A.J. Brown, and we saw last time, albeit 2 years ago, when Marshawn Lattimore was put on A.J. Brown, that kind of stopped A.J. Brown. So Ryan Tannehill is going to go up against the New Orleans Saints defense, the one with David Onyemata, Marcus Davenport, Demario Davis, Marshawn Lattimore. And his weapons are going to be Nick Westbrook-Akina and Jeff Swaim. And a 500-year-old Adrian Peterson. And I still think the onus is on him to win. I still think the pressure is on him to win. I think that's exactly what the Titans need, is they need Ryan Tannehill, a sick Ryan Tannehill who didn't practice today, to find a way to beat the Saints. And the rest of the games on this schedule, Tannehill's going to have to find a way. And even if these guys are hurt, it doesn't matter, because this is the NFL and life ain't fair. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. We've got some news on Julio Jones and what it means and what it makes me feel. We'll get to that coming up next here on Stillman and Company. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Those guys are fantastic. They take great care of my house, and I promise you that they can do the exact same for you. They've been taking care of my home for 3 years. And again, I have never had a problem anytime that my friends at Hiller come. In fact, I've had problems. Hiller comes, and the problems are gone. You've noticed all the inventory shortages and empty shelves everywhere. And by the way, that's a problem for a lot of us. Now there are serious shortages on equipment and products for your home. HVAC systems, tankless water heaters, and generators are going to be extremely limited in 2022. If you need a replacement, call my friends at Hiller today. Don't wait until you are out of options. Hiller has special financing options, so buy now and pay nothing until next year. And their work is backed by the Happy You'll Be or Services-Free guarantee. Learn more from my friends at happyhiller.com. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, proud supporters of the Preds, the Vols, and Vandy. Hiller, call that Happy Face truck today.
Shane scores! Matt Duchene with the overtime winner.
Matt Duchene stays hot and lifts the Preds to an overtime win against the Blues.
We don't ever get too low and we never get too high. We just have fun playing.
The Preds have won 7 of 9.
Here's Trinity scores!
Your exclusive home of Smashville is ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Staples Connect is a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Here's exciting news from Genesis Diamonds, just in time for the holidays. We've just introduced our all-new luxury pre-owned Rolex collection, the largest and best selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces in Middle Tennessee. Hard to find, very sought-after timepieces. Over the past few months, we've scoured the country to find the best, most pristine, hard-to-get luxury pre-owned Rolexes, Submariners, Hulks, Batmans, Daytonas, Pepsis, and more. And next weekend, November 19th, 20th, and 21st, Genesis Diamonds is hosting our first ever exclusive luxury pre-owned Rolex event. Your chance to get the luxury pre-owned Rolex of your dreams with special financing. Imagine a pre-owned Air King for just $199 a month, or an extremely rare two-tone Daytona for less than $460 a month. Also for this event, our Rolex buyers are on site, offering top dollar for your pre-owned Rolex. Come see Genesis' all-new selection of certified luxury pre-owned Rolex watches, November 19th, 20th, and 21st. Genesis Diamonds, your new home for luxury pre-owned Rolexes.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain, knee pain, joint pain? Listen carefully, because now there are new treatments available here. Not talking surgery or steroids. These are regenerative treatments from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Willie Donick here. QC Kinetics is the leader in these exciting biologic therapies that help restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints with lasting results. So if you've got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, joint pain that won't go away, you need to check out these new treatments with astonishing patient satisfaction reports. They can actually help your body restore and repair itself with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery. So call now to schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024. Tired of dealing with joint pain and want to get moving again? You need to learn more about how biologic therapies are changing the way we think about dealing with joint pain. It's exciting stuff, so don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
More new hamstrings this weekend. Any in-house consideration as to why that's been such a popular injury on this team?
I think that they're popular. Soft tissue injuries are something that the entire competitive athletic world deals with. We'll continue to monitor it. Whether they're high or not, we're always trying to do what's best for the players and focus on things and how we warm up, how we prepare. And then it's obviously there's a large part that is on each individual to make sure that they're ready to go. And some things we understand that are just going to happen and come up and that are part of playing football. So. Everybody has a part in trying to take care of the health and safety of the player. We're not panicking. We're not changing the way that we structure practice. And we walk through on Wednesday. We stretch. We ran striders. I would say that that's not something that would load the player. And so we just have to make sure that as we work our way through the games and we see how guys feel and that we're staying on top of this stuff.
There you go. That was Mike Vrabel talking about hamstring injuries, and there have been a lot of them. David Long Jr. out for Sunday's game with a hamstring injury. I believe Long hurt the hamstring at the end of the Rams game in garbage time, so he's going to be out Sunday. Julio Jones hurt his hamstring yesterday at practice. He did not practice today. He is questionable to play on Sunday. I feel pretty confident in saying Julio Jones probably is not going to play. So, if you're keeping score at home, Julio played in the Bills game and in the Chiefs game, didn't play in the Colts game, played in the Rams game, and is now probably not going to play in the Saints game. And I am not a doctor, and I am not one of these guys that hosts a podcast that pretends to be a doctor. I am a talk radio host, but I think it's a fair assumption to make that Julio Jones is not going to play with a hamstring injury. Fair assumption, Ian?
I'd say that's pretty fair.
Okay. So I'm going to say it like this, and I think this may ruffle some feathers, and if they do, I'm sorry. This is what the Titans are going to have to deal with for the next 2 years. This is what you got yourself into. I told you, I talked to a league source in the NFL who said the Atlanta Falcon doctors thought that Julio Jones was never going to be the same Julio again. I don't know why the Titan doctors didn't get a look at Julio Jones or didn't find that when they were analyzing whether or not Julio Jones would be worth a $15 million commitment in a second-round pick. But somehow, some way, the Falcon doctors thought he would never be the same. This is what you're going to have to deal with for the next 2 years. Because he's not going away. You can't cut Julio Jones. That's too much dead money. Just like how the Falcons couldn't cut Julio Jones and they desperately needed somebody to take that salary off their hands for their cap, that's where you are with Julio going forward. But this is what it's going to be like. Corey Curtis was on the show earlier today, and he said, I think they need to sit Julio through the bye. Because I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Ian, it's Saints, Texans, Patriots bye, right?
That sounds correct, yep.
Okay, so 3 games, Julio rests up by a month. Julio Jones gets a month off, according to Corey Curtis. And then you bring him back. The problem is Julio Jones had 8 months off to recover when they traded for him in the offseason. He lasted a week and a half in training camp. And for the first week, he didn't really do anything. So half a week in training camp, hurt his hamstring. Comes back at the very end of training camp. 2 games. hurts his hamstring. Comes back 2 games, hurts his hamstring. 1 game, hurts his hamstring. This is what it's going to be for the next 2 years. Is Julio is going to be able to play a game, and then he's going to miss 2. He's going to be able to play a game, and then he's probably going to miss 3. And I don't know if you guys noticed what Chris Collinsworth said on Sunday Night Football, but he was talking about Julio Jones, and he said, the Collinsworth way, I haven't really seen him run like the old Julio Jones. That first catch, he looked a little bit like it, but this season on the tape, I haven't seen him run like the old Julio Jones, Collinsworth said. That's because the old Julio Jones is never coming back. Guys only get traded for 4 reasons. Floyd used to always tell me this. 1, they're not a good player. 2, they're not a good dude. 3, they're injured. 4, they cost too much money. If Julio Jones was a generational talent at wide receiver and still in his prime, the Atlanta Falcons probably would not have traded him. This is what the Titans are going to have to deal with. And the other thing about Julio that I hope I wasn't the only one that noticed this on Sunday night was, doesn't it feel like Julio's more of a possession receiver now? Like the guy who kind of runs short or can get open on a tight play and you can get the ball into him and he'll catch it. When you put it on his hands, he'll catch it. But the idea of Julio blowing past a top corner and getting the ball over the top in the middle of a double team and Julio going up and making a play, I don't feel very good about that being a reality anymore. I'm not here to knock on Julio. I'm not here to knock on the Julio trade. I've done that enough. I'm just telling you all that the reality of the situation the Titans find themselves in is not one that's probably going to change. If I was optimistic that 3 weeks off and the bye, make it 4, would be enough to get you through the rest of the season with Julio Jones, I'd say go for it. I'd say do it. But I'm not optimistic. And I have a hard time thinking about that. Because at the end of the day, I think we all have to be honest with ourselves and say, hey, they've given him time to rest and recuperate. And every time he gets back out on the field, he just gets hurt again. And I said this earlier too with Corey. And I'm not mad at Julio Jones when I say, hey, at the end of the day, you can't depend on him. He's not trying to be out. He wants the hamstring to be normal. He wants to be the old Julio. The video TD posts, once he makes the run, he blurts out the F word and then walks back gingerly and spends the rest of the day with a trainer, doesn't get back in there, doesn't practice today. He wants to be out there. He wants to be the old Julio. But the body's not willing anymore. And that's what he is now. A possession receiver that will give you 2 or 3 games, and then he's going to have to take 2 or 3 games off. It's a lot like Rob Gronkowski at the end in New England, where Gronk was a good player. He was still big. He could still catch. He could still take a pop. But Gronk was never going to play 16 and now 17 games. By the way, see who's hurt in Tampa Bay right now? Rob Gronkowski. 615-737-1025. We'll get to your Titans texts and your Titans calls. We'll do that next. 615-737-1025, because it is your day on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Add the Julio news. Again, Julio is questionable officially for Sunday's game. I think Julio's out. So your wide receivers on Sunday, A.J. Brown, who will be locked on by Marshawn Lattimore. Now, again, if you're a good number 1 receiver, if you're an elite guy, you beat double teams, you beat the best corners in the game. You also don't drop the ball. So that's kind of another thing for A.J. But after that, I think it's going to be A.J., Marcus Johnson, Nick Westbrook-Akina, Chester Rogers. Those are your pass catchers on Sunday. Tight end stays the same, which is fine. I mean, has anybody realized that Anthony Ferguson hasn't done anything for this team this year?
I mean, he's almost a negative out there. That false start penalty brought him back. We're short on the 3rd down.
Awful. So that's the position the Titans find themselves in for Sunday. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. I want to thank our friends at Edmunds for sponsoring the show. That's right, Edmunds. Let me say what, buying a car is a major financial commitment, and it's often an overwhelming process. And that's where Edmunds is here to help, my friends. They have been taking the stress out of the entire car shopping process for over 50 years, and they've been keeping track of everything happening in the market to help you shop with confidence. My friend was looking for a car a couple of months ago, and I told her, I said, go to Edmunds. So we went to Edmunds, and we looked for cars that would fit her budget, her price range, and she was like, wow, this is really helpful. And I'm like, absolutely. It gets to the bottom of it so that you know right then and there what you are looking for. It's also very convenient because you can get an instant cash offer on your trade-in. If you've used Edmunds, I'm telling you right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Use their online tools to build your budget or to calculate your financing options. Ensure that any listing is a fair deal with a built-in deal ratings, and get free online appraisal in under 1 minute with options for a real cash offer from a participating dealership. No personal information required. Spend less time stressing at the dealership and get the most out of shopping done without leaving the home. Once you know how much a trade-in is worth, you can set your budget and start searching for new and used vehicles right then and there. Car shopping can be stressful. Edmunds is here to help. Visit Edmunds.com to get your free online appraisal today and start searching for vehicles in your area. That's EDMUNDS.com. For cars, there's Edmunds.
Titans, Saints.
Completes A.J. Brown, breaking free. Brown is in. Touchdown.
A.J. Brown and company look to keep rolling on their home field. Tune in Sunday at 9:30 for NFL pregame with Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard. Live from Rock Bottom Restaurant and Brewery on Broadway. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Whether you're driving for distance, pitching for precision, or putting to win it all, come to Edwin Watts Golf Shop to get custom fit for all your clubs throughout your bag. Hit a few balls and let our team show you the latest swing technology and data that will help optimize your game. Having each club tailored to become your gamers will help you start shooting lower scores. Let Edwin Watts Golf Shops help you make every shot the perfect one. Come in and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
With Fundbox, you can stop waiting and start doing. If your small business needs funds to grow, the time is now. Fundbox offers fast, easy access to small business funding up to $150,000. So hire that new employee, launch that campaign, buy that piece of equipment. Apply in minutes at fundbox.com, and you could get funding as soon as the next business day. Fundbox. Ready, set, grow. Credit line amounts, rates, and terms are based on creditworthiness and subject to change. Additional documentation may be required.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Christmas shopping starts now at Electronic Express. Get huge savings on the hottest gifts with up to 50% off in every department. 4K TVs, computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, and more. That's not all. Get up to 50% off all your appliance needs in stock and ready to deliver. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. We've got what you need this Christmas at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
In college football, Goodyear knows a new season means new possibilities, where every Saturday is an opportunity on the road to greatness. No matter if you're out there playing your hardest or cheering the loudest from the sidelines, tailgating in the parking lot, or your favorite spot to watch the game, Goodyear knows passion is what drives us forward all the way to the playoffs. That's the road that moves us. Goodyear, more driven.
Saturday night.
First and goal, it is Williams inside, leading to the goal line and in for a Notre Dame touchdown.
The Notre Dame Fighting Irish head east for a road test against Brennan Armstrong and the Virginia Cavaliers. Kickoff at 6:30
on ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is David Poyle. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Stillman and Company, be sure to join us for the pregame show. That's right, this Sunday, 9:30 to 11:30. We'll be hanging out at Rock Bottom downtown. Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, Mark Howard. Prior to the Titans taking on the New Orleans Saints, pregame show brought to you by TriStar Moving, Parman Tractor and Equipment, FreedomTireGuys.com, FanDuel, E2 Roofing. By the way, E2 Roofing, a veteran-owned and operated local Nashville roofer. Happy Veterans Day to our friends at E2 Roofing. Hillside Medical, Social Furniture, and Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. I promised your phones, so your phones is what we will do. We don't have Caroline with us today, but we will have Carolines where we pick the college games, and we will do that coming up. Texter into the text line says about this being on Ryan Tannehill and that the Titans, even though it's not fair, Julio's probably not going to play. Derrick Henry is on IR. They've had offensive line issues. The Saints have a good defense. It's on Ryan Tannehill. Texter says, isn't that every quarterback's job? And I would say for the most part, yeah, honestly it is. That's the unfair part about the position. You get the most fame. Who is the most famous non-quarterback right now in the NFL?
Aaron Donald, maybe?
I was going to say Odell Beckham. And he sucks. I mean, he hasn't made a big play in years. But if we were to say, who are the biggest superstars? When the Fanatics ranking comes out every year and they say, top jersey sales, it's always the same guys. Brady, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, it's all the same guys. That's like all those people that, just drum up anger on Twitter that were saying, the media is more mad at Aaron Rodgers for lying about the vaccine than they are at Henry Ruggs. No, it's just that, one, Henry Ruggs isn't polarizing, and driving 150 miles and killing somebody is not polarizing, whereas the COVID vaccine is very polarizing, and Aaron Rodgers is a humongous superstar. That's the reality of it. And that's what gets talked about nowadays. But I get it. I understand. That's how people feel. And I ask this question every time because I think this matters to me. But when it comes to quarterback, market sets everything. Ryan Tannehill makes more than double Derrick Henry. So I do think at the end of the day, the pressure's on him to succeed. The crazy thing about it, though, and we've talked about Tannehill's interceptions. And what's funny is, early in the season, I was really disappointed. That Colts game, week 3, I was really disappointed with Ryan Tannehill. I was really bothered. Because I thought to myself, that one interception right over the middle was stupid. And then a throwaway, which was intended for Jeremy McNichols, where he just lofted the ball aimlessly in the middle of the field to get rid of it so he didn't get sacked, and McNichols was 4 yards away from the ball. If there's a Colt defender there, or a Colt defender anywhere near it, that ball gets intercepted. The decision-making bothered me. And I voiced my opinion on it. I'm like, what's he doing? And everybody got mad. And now, week by week, Tannehill makes another inexcusable decision after inexcusable decision. It's like he needs to throw a stupid pick now in order to get warmed up. Well, that's not going to fly now. And if you want a team like the Saints, who don't have a quarterback, and won't have Alvin Kamara and don't have a running back, if you want a team like the Saints to have a chance, give them short fields. Throw turnovers, fumble the ball, give them 7 to 10 points to start the game, and they got a much better chance with that defense of beating you. But it's all on Tannehill, and it may not be fair. But that is the NFL world that we live in. Texter texts into the text line. And he says, with David Long out this week, do you think that the Titans are going to see a noticeable or major decline from the entire defense, given that David Long Jr. is the leading tackler? Or can Rashaan Evans and Monty Rice do a serviceable enough job in order to have a chance? I feel bad, but I would say this about David Long Jr. I think he's awesome. I think he plays the game incredibly hard. But I think we've seen now that he's got the experience. He's in his 3rd year. Now that he's got the experience, he's a very smart, instinctive football player. I think one of the bigger problems for Rashaan Evans is that he's too robotic. So, and Nick Saban kind of alluded to that with us a couple of years ago. We did a sit-down with him at the SEC Media Days because he and Floyd are good buds. And Saban, I asked him about Rashaan Evans, and Saban talked about the fact that, you can't bog him down with too much, which was my way of hearing you got to keep it simple and don't give him the green dot and tell Evans, hey, this is your role, which is easy for a guy like Harold Landry or Bud Dupree that play like very specific positions. Hey, Bud, go sack the quarterback. Okay? Ready? Break. But when you're a middle linebacker, it's a little different. David Long has that instinctiveness. It's like you see a running play, and Simmons and Autry and the big boys do their job to kind of keep the offensive line from getting to the second level, and there comes Long shooting right through there, and he makes a big tackle. That's great. So they're not going to have that. I don't think Rashaan Evans is going to play.
I don't think so either.
Rashaan Evans missed last week, I believe, with an ankle injury. He was limited on Wednesday, and he didn't practice Thursday or Friday of this week.
And he's listed as questionable.
He's
he's listed as questionable officially.
So I'm thinking it's going to be Monty Rice next to Jayon Brown.
I think so too.
And I hate that. I don't know, if there's going to be a big drop-off. I don't know, what the drop-off is going to be. But I do think there's going to be an issue.
We didn't really talk about that, all that garbage time at the end of the Rams game. About
Vrabel kept the good players in.
Why both teams are all playing in a meaningless snaps at the end of the game, and your best player, arguably on defense, gets hurt because of it. Why McVay's running all those plays with Stafford out there? I know they didn't want to give up a touchdown because they hadn't done that yet, but still, it seemed like get those guys off the field.
So I freaked out when that happened, and I'm like, get the good players out of the game. But think about this. You only have 45 players on a game day, right?
Or 48?
I think it's somewhere around there.
Something like that.
Okay. So right there, half of them are not even going to be able to play defense because most of them are offensive players. Mm-hmm. Then you got guys like Brett Kern and Morgan Cox and Randy Bullock and guys that are just pure special teamers. And then you got other guys that are not really defensive players. It's hard to take all the good players out.
Maybe they just didn't have enough bodies at that point.
Well, you can't take out all the good players. You can take out a couple. But defensive line, for example, you don't play Simmons every play of a drive. You take Simmons out, you bring Tier Tart in, or you take him out, you bring Naquan Jones in, or you bring those guys in, rotate them through. Quarterback you can take out. In a blowout, you can take a quarterback out, you can take a running back out, but the mass sub out like you can do in college football, you can't do that in the NFL. Plus, I think a lot of those coaches, because they don't practice hard very much anymore, I think they also look at that as some practice time. Okay, let's practice tackling. Let's practice running plays we want to run. Let's put some plays on tape that we want other teams to see. I think that is also kind of part of what they like to do. I could be wrong, but I did freak out. Just like you're saying, I freaked out when I saw David Long get hurt. Texter into the text line says, P.J. Williams is awful, and J.T. Gray is a practice squad player. The only decent available players for the Saints are Marshawn Lattimore, Taysom Hill, and Cam Jordan. The Titans should win by 20, which means the Saints will win this game the way the league is going this year. I'm going to say this. I do worry because I thought it last night watching the Dolphins. And I'm like, wow. I put some of these games on TV, and how many times this year have you watched a game and thought, holy crap, I didn't expect that? Holy crap, I did not expect the Broncos to go out there and embarrass the Cowboys. I didn't expect the Titans to go out there and embarrass the Rams. I didn't expect the Dolphins to embarrass the Ravens. I didn't expect the Jags to beat the Bills. I didn't expect the Bengals to beat the Ravens. It happens, it feels like every week in this league. That does scare me about this game. Very much so. And while I still think the Titans are probably, I think the Titans, this is the one thing that I keep saying. When I watched the Titans on Sunday with that defensive line and a solid defense, which did include David Long Jr., I thought, this looks like the 2000 Titans. We all love Steve McNair and Eddie George, but the 2000 Titans were a defensive-first team. And they were led by those great defensive lines with Javon Curse and Kevin Carter and Josh Evans and Kenny Holmes and Jason Fisk and Albert Hainsworth and Kyle Vandenbosch and Robert Smith. They had good linebackers like Randall Godfrey and Keith Bullock and Eddie Robinson, and solid players in the secondary. This Titans team has a good offense, a good defensive line with good linebackers. Jayon Brown's good. David Long is really good. Evans, we'll see. But good linebackers because Dupree and Landry are linebackers. And decent players in the secondary, and the one great player you have in the secondary is going to be a first-team All-Pro. But the early Titans, the Steve McNair and Eddie George Titans, they went 13-3. 13-3, 13-3, 7-9 with injuries. 11-5 in the AFC title game, 12-4. Because they didn't lose to teams they were supposed to beat in November and December. That's the difference. You win the toss-up games against good teams that it's like, hey, this is a big game. Here come Jim Nantz and Tony Romo. You win those games. But you also don't lose to teams you should beat. The early Titans won a lot of games where Ian Eagle and Solomon Wilcots were calling the game. And that was like the Spiro Ditas and Adam Archuleta of my time. They won a lot of those games. Don Crickey calling that. They won a lot of those games back in the day. And that's what they're going to have to do this week. And it has been a trend around the league that underdogs are winning. And that the league is so much closer than you think. They still got to find a way to win. Trevor Simeon's a quarterback, guys. Caroline's coming up next. We will pick the college games this week. And there's one about to start. Cincinnati plays South Florida on ESPN2 at the top of the hour. And Cincinnati's going to need to win that game by 30 points if they don't want to hear the College Football Playoff Committee just lose their mind. NFL Week 10 continues this Sunday, and my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app, wants you to get the most out of every play. That's why they're giving everybody a $10 risk-free bet every single week. All you have to do is bet a same-game parlay with 3 legs or more, and if your bet doesn't win, FanDuel will pay you back up to $10. Titans and Saints this week, I think you've got to bet the under with all of the players that are out for the two teams. Big names. Julio's probably not going to play. Alvin Kamara is out for the Saints. Under on the offensive numbers. At least that's the route I would go. FanDuel Sportsbook has fast payouts. You get your winnings in as little as 2 hours. It's easy to use, safe and secure, and it's America's #1 sportsbook and my official sportsbook app. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay, so lock in your bet today on the FanDuel Sportsbook app and get up to $10 back if your bet doesn't win. New to FanDuel Sportsbook, sign up with the promo code JGM to also receive 30-1 enhanced odds on either team to win during Monday night's matchup between the Rams and the 49ers. $150 on a $5 bet. That's promo code JGM so they know that I sent you. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit. Expires in 7 days. Max refund $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Same game parlay available for multiple sports in all states on mobile and web. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. 30s tonight, 35 degrees for our low temperature. Frost by tomorrow morning. The afternoon on the cooler side as well. A high right near 50 degrees, but unlimited sunshine throughout the entire day. No rain worries until next week.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Racetrack's new waffle breakfast sandwich will satisfy whatever you're craving in the morning. With golden waffles and melty, hearty goodness of sausage, egg, and cheese, it'll be love at first bite. Only $2.99 for a limited time.
Here's exciting news from Genesis Diamonds, just in time for the holidays. We've just introduced our all-new luxury pre-owned Rolex collection, the largest and best selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces in Middle Tennessee. Hard to find, very sought-after timepieces. Over the past few months, we've scoured the country to find the best, most pristine, hard-to-get luxury pre-owned Rolexes, Submariners, Hulks, Batmans, Daytonas, Pepsis, and more. And next weekend, November 19th, 20th, and 21st, Genesis Diamonds is hosting our first ever exclusive luxury pre-owned Rolex event. Your chance to get the luxury pre-owned Rolex of your dreams with special financing. Imagine a pre-owned Air King for just $199 a month, or an extremely rare two-tone Daytona for less than $460 a month. Also for this event, our Rolex buyers are on site, offering top dollar for your pre-owned Rolex. Come see Genesis' all-new selection of certified luxury pre-owned Rolex watches, November 19th, 20th, and 21st. Genesis Diamonds, your new home for luxury pre-owned Rolexes.
Calling all sweet tooths. Head to Nashville Toffee Company, a place where rich, chocolatey daydreams are created from a secret family recipe generations in the making. Their toffees and candies are handcrafted in Nashville using all natural, kosher-certified ingredients. Sweet creamery butter, pure cane sugar, premium roasted nuts, deep rich chocolate, and sea salt. Visit NashvilleToffeeCompany.com or drop by their headquarters on Air Lane Drive for a positively hassle-free shopping experience. Whether you're buying for 1 or 100, Nashville Toffee Company is here to make your holiday gift-giving easy.
Darren McFarland.
And a mulligan that we all look for in golf. Lord knows our game could use it.
Willie Donick.
Outworked and outperformed a lot of other really good players.
Chase McCabe.
I want some sort of trade protection.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curation CBD on Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
Cincinnati, South Florida. I have said this about 10 times. I'll say it again. Kickoff is in like 10 minutes on ESPN2. Cincinnati better win by 800. And even then, I'm not sure the playoff committee will care. I'm not sure they will treat them with respect. But even without Caroline, it is time now for Carolines.
Get in on the action. Put the money on the mahogany. What's on tap on the sports books? It's time to break it all down with Carolines. Here on Stillman and Company.
On ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
All right, let's see here. There are a few decent games actually on the college slate this week, I will say. Let's start 11 a.m. on ABC. Michigan at Penn State. Michigan -1.5.
I'll take Penn State. Now, I don't like Penn State. I can't stand James Franklin, and I find the Big Ten to be incredibly boring outside of that great Michigan State game. But I'm going to take Michigan. I'm going to take Penn State, and here's why. Jim Harbaugh has been given a second life by the College Football Playoff Committee. And did you hear Gary Barta, the playoff chair? I mean, he's basically saying, well, we wanted to put them ahead of Michigan State the week before, but they lost to Michigan State, so now they beat them, so we put them ahead, which sets up a big game for Jim Harbaugh on the road on national TV, and people are going to watch. And because people are going to watch, Michigan's going to lose. Because that's what Michigan and Jim Harbaugh do in big games that they need to win, is they never win them. He is the opposite of Tom Brady. Every time Tom Brady's in a must-win game on TV, Tom Brady wins. When Tom Brady loses, we're like, Brady lost? Harbaugh's the other way around. I'll take Penn State.
Okay, staying at 11 a.m. on Fox. Oklahoma at Baylor. Oklahoma -5.5.
That's a good game for Big Noon Sunday. I'm going to take Baylor. I'm going to take Baylor because I'm getting the points and because deep down inside, I don't think Oklahoma is any good. Now, I think Oklahoma has gotten better since they've made their quarterback change, and good for them. But I'm worried about this game. Maybe I'm betting with my heart and not my head. I'm worried about this game because a win for Oklahoma would allow them to get their way back into the playoff picture. I don't want a Big 12 team in the playoff. I certainly don't want Oklahoma. This is going to be a big game from that respect. I don't know much about Baylor, but I'll take the +5.5 here. They're at home, and more importantly, I do not trust Oklahoma.
Okay, let's see. 2:30 ABC. Purdue is ranked. They are traveling at Ohio State. Ohio State -3 touchdowns, though, 21.
That's a lot. I am going to take Ohio State to cover this. And here's why. Because Purdue is good for one big spoil every year. I mean, every year, Purdue put them up against the number 3 team in the country. They don't have to be that good, and somehow, some way, Jeff Brom finds a way to win that game. I think it is pretty ballsy, by the way, for ABC to put this game on. This is a big game, Purdue versus Ohio State, and they're putting it on against the SEC game of the week. Now, it's Georgia-Tennessee, and that'll probably be a blowout. But I'm going to take Ohio State. I think they got scared. The Buckeyes did. I think they got scared by what happened to Michigan State last weekend. I think they know Purdue is for real. Jeff Brom's beaten good Ohio State teams before. I'm not totally sold on the revival of Ohio State, which everybody, including the playoff committee, is trying to sell me on, but I still think they get it done. I think it's a closer game that Ohio State then ultimately puts out some garbage time touchdowns that allow them to cover, get a backdoor cover here. So I'll take Ohio State over Purdue.
Okay, 6 o'clock, ESPN, Texas A&M at Ole Miss. A&M -2.5.
Boy, that's a tough one. I'll take Ole Miss. Give me the home field here. A&M. You know what's crazy about A&M? And I picked them last week, and they ended up beating Auburn. Is you look at A&M, and they're not very impressive. And you look at the Calzada kid at quarterback, and it's like, that guy? But they just keep winning, and they beat Alabama. And ever since that debacle where they got spanked by Arkansas, A&M has been a solid team this year. They've got good running backs, and I think Jimbo's realized that, and he wants to use them. Ole Miss is kind of taking a turn for the worse, but I think they've got the better quarterback. Plus, Ole Miss hasn't played well in a while, so it's probably time for a good game from Ole Miss, good game from Lane Kiffin, good game from Matt Corral. I will take Ole Miss, especially at home, but I don't feel comfortable about that pick.
Okay, that brings us to our last pick here, the 2:30 CBS game. Georgia at Tennessee. Georgia -20.
So I have been looking all through the text line ever since I said to Tennessee fans, hey, don't get too excited about this game. Like, don't get too excited, and don't expect Tennessee to win, because people like Caroline's boyfriend, who loves the Vols through and through no matter what, they think the Vols are going to win this game. They are not going to win this game. N-O, no chance. 0% chance Tennessee wins this game. There is a bigger chance that an arm grows out of my rear end on Saturday than there is that the Volunteers beat Georgia. 0%. Now the number's 20. And a lot of Tennessee fans have this idea that, Josh Heupel's offense, this is going to get some open looks, and this is going to... Not against this defense. Every game Georgia has won this year has been the same. The final scores are all the same. 42-13, 41-6. It's all the same. And I say 14. I think 13 is the most points they've allowed. They've done it twice. Tennessee is not going to score a bunch of points on Georgia. Georgia's going to cover this number. And it may be like the Florida game a couple of weeks ago, where it was the offense that did nothing in the first half, but the defense that created the offense, because that defense is so good. Trevor Maddich said that he'll never say a defense is legendary, but he thinks this Georgia defense might be legendary. I see it. I think this is like one of those prime Nick Saban Alabama teams. I definitely am taking Georgia. I'm laying the points here. Do not get caught up in the hype over a fan base that is so desperate to be excited and should be excited, but they beat Kentucky. This is Georgia. I hope Caroline has fun at the game. Those are Carolines. Coming up next, Chad Withrow, Outkick 360. His thoughts on the Vols' chances at Georgia. His thoughts on the rest of the SEC. Is Dan Mullen in trouble? A lot of people think Dan Mullen should be in trouble. We'll get Chad Withrow's thoughts on that as well. And we'll get Chad's thoughts on the Titans as they get set to take on the Saints. We'll do that next on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Invigorate Health. That's right. They're online at InvigorateHealthTN.com. I was over at Invigorate Health today getting an M-Sculpt Neo, and I am telling you that baby works. I mean, that is a $450,000 machine. And every time I put the little paddles on that have that electromagnetic field and the infrared lights and the heat that burn that fat at hard-to-find spots, every time I put those on, I feel like I'm going through something in Star Trek. But I am telling you, it works because it has worked on me. Also, if you are looking at trying to lose weight for your New Year's resolution, get kickstarted on it now. They've got semaglutide. That's right. Semaglutide is the newest FDA-approved weight loss drug, but it's not new. It's just newly approved for weight loss. It's been prescribed for years for diabetic patients. The FDA has approved it for weight loss, and in fact has been the key, according to Men's Health magazine, in the fight against obesity. It could be like how There's blood pressure medication for people with high blood pressure. There's medication for people with high anxiety. For people with obesity that cannot control their eating, semaglutide might be the best option for you. Give them a call today. InvigorateHealthTN.com. Just Google Invigorate Health. The staff there is fantastic, awesome. I always look forward to my visits because I love the people there. I love what they offer. Anything you need, they've got it. InvigorateHealthTN.com.
Take us wherever you may go.
There are 2 guys on my untouchable list.
Tune us in anywhere, anytime.
Every team's got those. That's my point.
Just search The Game Nashville in your app store and download today. And keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
It's back. Family Leisure's Ultimate Game Room Sale is back.
Okay, so what's that mean?
That means huge discounts, up to 50% off on all kinds of game room furniture and accessories.
Like what?
Up to 50% off on slate pool tables from Brunswick and Legacy Billiards. Prices start as low as $14.99 installed, plus the matching bars and game tables. Even poker tables to complete our game room are on sale as well. The guaranteed largest selection and lowest prices in the Mid-South.
Wow, perfect for Christmas.
Family Leisure is also featuring huge savings on massage chairs and home theater seating. Full body massage chairs starting at only $9.99. And the top-of-the-line 40 massage chair is more than half off at $29.99.
What about the theater seating?
Family Leisure guarantees to be half off anyone's home theater seating. 3-piece recliner sets start at only $9.99. Full power recline real leather seats are only $19.99.
That's great. And they have stand-up and desktop arcade games with over 600 games, shuffleboards, foosball, and air hockey tables.
It really is the ultimate game room sale.
The ultimate game room sale going on now at both locations, Franklin and Antioch.
There's a confusion about how to protect yourself from COVID. But one thing is for sure. Whether or not you're vaccinated, you need an accurate thermometer. Contact your medical provider at the first sign of fever, the leading sign of COVID and the flu. Only the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer has been proven accurate in more than 100 clinical studies. Be vigilant and don't rely on non-contact thermometers. They have no scientific studies behind them and can miss the fever that might mean COVID. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Nashville's best sports talk. Locally owned. Home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram. 97.5 Murfreesboro. WBUZ HD2 Laverne. Online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman & Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. It's a Fireball Hot Take Friday. And that, of course, means Chad Withrow joins us now. Outkick 360. Chad brought to you by Apple Collision Centers, online at applecollisioncenters.com. Mark Howard's guys. So, Chad, we start with this. I just made my college picks. I'm taking Georgia. I'm taking the spread. I think Georgia – I said this earlier today. There is a weird faction of the Tennessee fan base that thinks Tennessee is legitimately going to win this game. In fact, I don't want to call anybody out, but Dylan from Nashville, who texts often, calls often, happens to be Caroline's boyfriend, said yesterday that he thinks, well, you know, Georgia is going to overlook this game, and I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. I think Tennessee's had a great season. I think the idea of expecting them to be able to beat Georgia is a little too strong for me. How do you feel about the optimism surrounding tomorrow night's game?
I think the only optimism, Jared, is that maybe Tennessee can score more on Georgia than anyone has so far this season. To me, that's the only real reason for optimism. The problem is Tennessee's not going to stop Georgia in this game. I don't see any way that happens. And with Tennessee's first two running backs out, Tyon Evans and Jabari might go. Tyon Evans probably won't go at all. Tennessee's down to a 185-pound freshman running back named Jalen Wright, Lynette Whitehead, who hasn't played much, and a walk-on. And that's not just a problem for them trying to run it. That's a huge problem in pass protection. And that's going to be an issue for Tennessee in this game. So given all those factors, and I'd love to see Tennessee at full strength or at least close to it in the run game to see what they could do offensively against Georgia. And I do think that they have the ability to hit a few big plays in this game in the passing attack. But I'm with you. I mean, I think this is to me, is a pretty easy decision to take Georgia to cover the points in this game, given everything that I said, and given the fact that Tennessee, they've played over their heads a lot this year on defense, and they're just going to have to try to blitz Stetson Bennett and hope for the best. But I just don't see any way that Tennessee consistently slows down Georgia, and I don't see any way Tennessee, without their top two running backs, having enough offensively to not be one-dimensional and get some things going. Because if you're one-dimensional against Georgia, forget about it. And so I'm with you on this. I don't think Tennessee has a chance to win the game. I do think it's going to be interesting to see if Tennessee scores more points than anyone has on Georgia this year. But I still think even if they do that, this is probably like a 52-21 type win for Georgia.
So it's funny because Caroline mentioned this to me yesterday off air, and I think it's kind of fair. We've been talking this week about Alabama and the fact that by Alabama's standards, I think this Alabama team kind of stinks, like by their standards. And she said to me yesterday that Georgia this year is like Alabama. And the more I thought about it, you look at those offensive and defensive lines, Georgia's defense is absolutely stacked. They've got a good running game with multiple running backs, and they've got a guy who couldn't quarterback any other team to the SEC except for this one, which is how it used to be when it was Greg McElroy and John Parker Wilson and maybe even A.J. McCarron, the old Alabama. I think that's pretty fair. I think this Georgia team is not like a 2016 Alabama or 2018 Alabama, but more like a 2011 or a 2012 Alabama team.
Yeah, it feels like, 2009, you mentioned Greg McElroy. It feels like 2009 Greg McElroy, Alabama, that beat Colt McCoy in Texas for a national title out in Pasadena. That's what this Georgia team feels like. Dominant defense, game manager at quarterback, great running game, physical on both lines of scrimmage, lots of 4- and 5-star guys across the board. I think Caroline's onto something, saying that this Georgia team reminds her of Bama. And look, from this perspective, at this point with what we've seen from Georgia, they have to choke to not win the national title. I think they're that much clearly better than everyone else in the country that it's going to take a Georgia choke job, which they've been known to do in the past, to not win a national title. I'm trying to think of teams that can compete with Georgia. I think Alabama could if they played great. I think Ohio State probably could if they played great. But that list is very small, and I'm talking about just teams that could compete with Georgia this year. That's how great this Georgia team is. That's how, otherworldly, not just great. I'm trying to find the right superlative. And I think otherworldly might be it to describe Georgia's defense. It really would take a choke job by Georgia to not win it all this year.
What really bothers me, Chad Withrow with us, what really bothers me about Alabama is their number 2 ranking in the playoff committee, and it's fine. You can get into the argument about who should be 2 if not Alabama and all of that, but I almost feel like the committee sees Alabama and they think Alabama. And I know they won last week against LSU, but that LSU team is awful. And so when I see Alabama play, I can't believe Nick Saban's coaching this team. You watch the Tennessee game, and that was a much closer game than the score indicates, and you've got Greg McElroy on the TV broadcast losing his mind at the idea that this Alabama defense can't get lined up. They don't play defense. They don't run the ball well. You can make them 2, whatever you want. I wouldn't have them at 2. But by Saban standards, this is not a good Alabama team.
Yeah, I was there in Tuscaloosa for that LSU game, and I'm sitting in the stadium. And it was a very weird feeling in Bryant-Denny Stadium that night watching that game, because those fans are so accustomed to not just winning, but winning comfortably and seeing greatness that they almost don't know how to deal with being confronted with being above average. And that's what I don't know that they were above average in that game. They were an average football team for that game against LSU. It was not a good performance at all by Alabama, and it's just a weird feeling around that stadium when you're there and witnessing that. You're right about the Tennessee game. That's a one-score game in the fourth quarter. Bama fans I talked to last week, they were nervous throughout that game. Tennessee put a true scare into them, and they really didn't get comfortable until that interception late by Hendon Hooker. This is not your average Bama team, but, and I'm with you, Jared, they should not be number 2 in the country. But I still sit here, just like we talked about with Georgia, and I look at teams that on their best day could play with or possibly beat Georgia, and I think Alabama's still on that short list. I don't know what's going on with Bryce Young. The passing attack was really bad against LSU. It's just a very average effort, I thought, from Alabama in that game. So this is not your standard Bama team for sure. But if you ask me to pick who I think could possibly beat Georgia, Alabama's on that short list with probably Ohio State.
What do you make of the fact that Florida had a horrific performance Saturday against South Carolina? Todd Grantham got fired. So did another coach. I mean, there's no defensive coordinator that has gotten fired more in the SEC, I believe, than Todd Grantham. Maybe John Chavis. But Grantham gets canned after the game. Everybody now is saying, well, why isn't Dan Mullen getting the same treatment as Ed Orgeron? What do you make of it?
So it's funny because to get fired so many times in the SEC, you have to get hired so many times.
True.
So I immediately thought, who's going to hire Todd Grantham next? Because you know someone in the SEC is about to hire Todd Grantham. But anyway, it's very weird. You know, this is a perfect portrait of how quickly you can fall from grace over the course of one college football season. Go back to Florida playing Alabama so tight in Gainesville early in the year. And now look at that Florida team getting just completely blown away by a very bad South Carolina team in Columbia Saturday night. And think about how we got to this point with Florida football. It's crazy to think about Dan Mullen's job being in jeopardy, but I think it legitimately is. I think he's dodged the first bullet by firing his defensive coordinator and his offensive line coach. But I think if they lose to Florida State or they mess up and lose to Missouri, I really think that Dan Mullen might be in jeopardy at Florida. Here's the other thing, too, though, about Florida this year. There's not that slam dunk hire for them.
Yeah.
When they've been most successful, you knew Urban Meyer was going to do great things coming from Utah to take that job. I'd say the same about Dan Mullen. To me, that was a no-brainer for Florida. You knew, okay, this makes sense. He's been there before. He worked for Urban Meyer. He's done really good things at Mississippi State in the SEC. I'm looking around college football, and it's tough to say, okay, this is the perfect next hire for Florida. It looks like if they made a move this season, I don't think they will, because I think they'll figure it out enough to beat Missouri and to beat Samford, Missouri, and Florida State. But I'm looking around thinking Florida might go hire their next Jim McElwain if they fire Dan Mullen this year, and that would not be good for them.
Chad Withrow with us. They just kicked off, by the way, in Cincinnati, South Florida tonight in Tampa at Raymond James. Cincinnati's a 25.5-point favorite. I said earlier today, I think this is a game a lot of people are going to see on TV, especially the end. You get home from work on a Friday night, you flip it on. I think Cincinnati's got to win by 30 points. And I know that's crazy, but the College Football Playoff Committee is telling you right now that they are going to give Alabama every benefit of the doubt, and that if they just hang close with Georgia in an SEC title game, they're going to make the playoff. I also look at it and I see, how many more times is Cincinnati going to be actually on TV? They don't play any good teams, it feels like, the rest of the way. I think they need to win this game by 35 points, or 30 points at least, 23.5 points. If they don't win by 30 points, then I think everybody who's crying for Cincinnati like me probably needs to stop. What do you think?
Well, they need to. I think it's also a little bit unfair because I too, like you, am crying a little bit for Cincinnati right now. I think it's unfair to basically tell Cincinnati you're not worthy and you don't belong in our playoffs, and then just expect them to say, oh, well, now I guess we'll start playing harder and we'll start beating teams more. I can understand that being a bit deflating also. It can work the other way, as we saw this week against Tulsa. I forget who they played earlier this year. They played on a Friday night once, and they just steamrolled whoever they played. I remember they were going for it on fourth down. They were trying to score late. They were throwing it late, and I'm thinking, this is what Cincinnati needs to do. They need to put up as many style points as possible, and that's what they did earlier this season. I'm with you, Jared. It would be nice for them to win and win huge on Friday night when more eyeballs are watching them as opposed to Saturday when everyone's watching a Power 5 team for the most part. So I do think it's important for Cincinnati to score some style points. But I'm also not going to sit here and go along with a lot of the national media who says, oh, see, that's why Cincinnati's not ranked in the top 4. They barely beat this team in the American Athletic Conference. Well, you tell someone they don't belong and they're not worthy, sometimes it can go one of two ways. And maybe it took this last week to get through that for Cincinnati to regain themselves, and hopefully they come out tonight and they get the style points they need.
By the way, that was a Friday night against Temple. They won 52-3, and I don't even remember it. So maybe it doesn't even really matter because I don't even remember that 52-3.
Jared, I only remember it because I was in College Station, Texas, and we were at some country club for dinner with Billy Lucci from TexAgs.com, and it was on the television. And I remember having a discussion with Jonathan Hutton about, this is what Cincinnati should do. And I think it was like 45-3 at that time, and they were still throwing it. And they were trying to score a touchdown late. And we were totally fine with it because we knew Cincinnati, they need to win and win as big as possible in every game.
Chad Withrow is our guest. Chad, how many times over the years in your past life did you feel like you had to deal with irrational Titans fans as far as callers or Twitter or whatever in your life, if you had to guess?
I mean, it's happening now. On Twitter, it happens all the time. I mean, how many
that's
times?
What I want to get to next.
500, just who knows? A lot. The number's a lot.
So I want to get to that next. How irrational or rational should Titan fans be? Some of them think they may be the best team in the NFL. Plus, the Tannehill scare today. We'll get to that with Chad Withrow from Outkick 360, and we'll do it next. Stillman and Company, Fireball Hot Take Friday. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Tannehill through his reads to the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown.
Is a sixth straight win in store for the Two-Tone Blue?
Perfectly thrown. Touchdown Saints.
Or will the New Orleans Saints pour a bucket of ice on the Titans' hot streak?
Okay, you made your point.
Tune in all day Monday for full reaction to Titans Saints.
Who wants to talk football?
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, we think you deserve the very best driving experience, and now is the time for our Season of Change CPO event at Mercedes-Benz of Music City. When you purchase a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you're backed by the remaining new vehicle limited warranty. Once that expires, the certified pre-owned limited warranty goes into effect, providing an additional 12 months of coverage with unlimited miles. See all the perks and exceptional offers for your certified pre-owned vehicle from Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
Got chronic joint pain? Not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way. And now it's available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Hey, Willie Donick here. I'm talking about new therapies. Advanced, all-natural, regenerative treatments that can not only just give you relief, but can also restore and repair damaged tissue, so you can have lasting relief. If you've got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, don't just think the old ways of dealing with pain are the only ways. You need to learn more about these new biologic therapy solutions. Call now for a free consultation. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. These remarkable new treatments increase mobility, decrease pain, and help restore tissue. They actually encourage your body to heal itself. Call now and learn more about these restorative, regenerative, and revolutionary alternatives. Don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Last year, Nashville SC shattered the expectations in Major League Soccer.
Nashville SC dumping Toronto out of the playoffs.
Now they're back for more. Nashville SC is back in the Audi MLS Cup playoffs, and you can cheer for the boys in gold here at Nissan Stadium. Get your tickets now for round one to see Nashville SC face off against Orlando City SC on November 23rd at 7 p.m. Tickets start at just $24, so come be a part as the boys in gold look to bring a championship to Nashville. Get your tickets at NashvilleSC.com/tickets. Everyone in.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations: Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and let me tell you about my friends at Curation CBD. If you're like me and have aches and pains all over your body and you've been searching for a solution, well, I've got it. It's Quration CBD. Quration means healing, and that right there says it all. Quration is locally and organically sourced CBD products right here from Middle Tennessee. From seed to final sell, Quration is passionate about providing quality products for everyday use for athletes and for pets, too. Order yours now at QurationCompany.com. Quration CBD, curated for life.
With just one spray of Microban 24, your hard surfaces are sanitized for up to 24 hours. Touch after touch after touch.
So 6 hours from now?
Still sanitized.
12 hours?
Yep.
18 hours.
We're really doing this.
24 hours.
When used as directed, one spray of Microban keeps killing 99.9% of bacteria touch after touch for, up to 24 hours.
Wow.
Microban 24. The sanitizer 4 out of 5 doctors would use in their own homes. So why aren't you?
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Stillman and Company, presented by TriStar Moving, ESPN 102.5 The Game. Chad Withrow, Outkick 360 with us here on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Chad, by the way, presented by Mark Howard's guys over at Apple Collision Centers. Apple Collision Centers online at applecollisioncenters.com. So, Chad, we were discussing this earlier, the amount of irrational Titan fans that I feel like we've had to deal with, you, me, everybody else, over the years. But there is a lot of beating the drum that the Titans might be the best team in the NFL. Certainly a lot of drum beating that they might be the best team in the AFC, especially considering that the Bills just lost to the Jags and the Ravens last night looked god-awful on national TV against a terrible Dolphins team. The schedule is kind of easy the rest of the way out. What do you think about Titan fans that are looking at their team, even without Derrick Henry, and still thinking they might be the best team in the AFC?
Well, I don't think it's that irrational, and I'll say it for this reason. They have the best resume in the AFC, and now it's not even close. After Baltimore loses last night to Miami, I mean, the Titans have the best, if we're looking at NCAA tournament resume, the blind resume test that we see every February, where they put this team, and this team, and they show your RPI and strength of schedule and wins over the top 25 and all that. If we had that for the NFL and across the AFC right now and did the blind resume test, the Titans have the best resume in the AFC. Now, if you're asking me, are the Titans Super Bowl material without Derrick Henry? My answer is no, because their offense was not good against the Rams. I need to see something offensively. This defense is championship caliber, and that's crazy for me to say. Going into this season, that was the biggest question mark. But this defense is legitimately Super Bowl capable, from what I see, and they're getting better. That part is good. The Titans have to figure out what they are offensively. If you ask me right now who's the best team in the AFC, I think it's Buffalo if they can figure out a running game. But I'm saying the same thing about the Titans. So maybe it is a toss-up between those two, because the Titans, I would give them a slight edge maybe if they figure out life after Derrick Henry. That's a big if. But if they figure out the right formula, I think the Titans are definitely in that discussion, because suddenly they're a team that just figures out ways to win. You don't have an offense? Okay, let's get a pick six from Kevin Byard. Let's get another interception from David Long Jr. Let's completely flip the game that way, and let's win in L.A. against one of the best teams in the NFL in a different way. This is this Titans team right now. They're figuring out ways. For that reason, I don't think Titans fans are being that irrational when they say they're the best in the AFC.
If I told you today Derrick Henry will come back for the playoffs, especially if the Titans get the number one seed in the AFC and have the bye week, Derrick Henry returns for the playoffs, do you think that they go to the Super Bowl?
Yes. It's a big caveat with that. Sure. Because how healthy is Derrick Henry when he comes back? He can't be 100% if he comes back in the playoffs. But if he's 80%, yes. I think the Titans are going to the Super Bowl. I think they're good enough to go to the Super Bowl if Derrick Henry comes back and gives them the boost that we know Derrick Henry could give them come playoff time. I'm also weirded out by the fact that Adam Schefter seems to be the only one that says it's for the season. I know he softened on that a little bit, but every doctor that I've listened to has basically said they can speculate, and some will say it's going to be tough because of his size and position and yada, yada, yada for him to come back. But everything I've heard is after 4 to 6 weeks, you reevaluate. You see how it's healing. You don't know anything until 4 to 6 weeks, and then you can start to guess a timetable for return at that point. So I know Adam Schefter's had sort of a difficult week with the Dalvin Cook tweets and apologizing on SportsCenter and all that, but I just found it odd that it was Ian Rappaport versus Adam Schefter on how long he's out. I'm going to go with the doctors I've heard on this, and it looks like it's something you reevaluate 4 to 6 weeks from surgery. If he comes back, yeah, why not? Titans are a Super Bowl team.
To your point, Chad, I talked to an agent last week, and the agent said to me, who's had several clients that have had this injury, and the agent said to me, he goes, Adam Schefter won't know for at least a month. John Robinson won't know for at least a month. Derrick Henry won't know for at least a month. Jimmy Sexton won't know for at least a month. And so I'm thinking to myself, if an experienced agent is telling me that everybody in the know won't have any idea for at least a month, how is Adam Schefter going off on this just constant for the season, for the season, for the season, for the season? I don't – that doesn't make any sense to me. And you brought up the Dalvin Cook thing, and now I'm just kind of getting kind of worked up here. But I kind of feel like, maybe Schefter's in over his skis a little bit right now. He came under fire a couple of months ago because he invested in some fantasy gambling site, and they were talking about how Schefter could use his platform in order to, essentially a conflict of interest for his business. And I do wonder, like this time last year, they were hammering, all the insiders were hammering the Titans for their COVID protocols. And then the NFL came out and said, yeah, Titans didn't do anything wrong. And I just kind of, I don't know, I guess I'm skeptical of all of that.
And I'm with you. Here's what I think on Schefter. I think it's arrogance. And I think the arrogance is pretty well-founded because he obviously has great sources, and he is a prisoner to those sources at times. But when you break as much news as Adam Schefter, that was probably the 4th or 5th story that he broke that day when he made that Dalvin Cook tweet, right? So he's become so accustomed to just trusting his sources and saying exactly what they tell him. So if some agent, source, or whoever tells Adam Schefter, Derrick Henry's done for the season, no way he's coming back, or a doctor, whoever, he just runs with it. He's going to go with it. He's not going to fact-check it. He's not going to reword it. He's going to put it out there, and he's going to trust that source. When Dalvin Cook's agent or whatever's going on says he's the victim in the story, he's being extorted, he was attacked. When Adam Schefter, it was just the first tweet from him was so strange in how he definitively said, Dalvin Cook is the victim of extortion and an attack, and litigation is going to come out soon, news about litigation, or however he worded it. I immediately thought, this is a guy who has been emboldened by his own status, by his sources, by his connections, to the point where he just puts anything out there he wants. No one's going to fact-check him. No one at ESPN's looking at that. They just trust him. They believe him. And I think that he just went a step too far and was just being the mouthpiece for an agent and for Dalvin Cook, and it got him in trouble. I think we'll see a different Adam Schefter now. It may not last forever, but I think that the Derrick Henry with this, I think we're going to see a slightly different Adam Schefter when it comes to how he tweets out news.
It's funny you say that. Like Ian Rappaport and I, a couple months ago, there was a report on something, and I told Rappaport, I'm like, I'm hearing it's something else. And he told me, and Caroline was sitting right there, and he's like, no, I'm going to stick with my report. And then 2 hours later sent me a text. He's like, hey, I just updated my original report because you asked. And I think it was kind of back to that arrogance of, trust me, I trust my sources, because Adam Schefter still seems pretty, spot on. I mean, it seems like he's the one guy who keeps saying out for the season. Chad Withrow with us here on Stillman & Company. So this week against the Saints, it's not hard to get up for the Bills. It's not hard to get up for the Chiefs. It's not hard to get up for the Colts when the division's on the line. It's not hard to get up for the Rams when everybody's picking against you. It doesn't look like Alvin Kamara's going to play for the Saints. Trevor Siemian's at quarterback. Are you worried that the Titans will go out there like the Ravens last night, like the Bills last week, and just absolutely crap their pants against the Saints?
I think I've been really bad at picking games on your show, by the way, when it comes to the Titans.
That is true.
I said there's no way that they were going to lose to the Jets, and, of course, they went out and lost. Last week I was prepping people for disaster in L.A., and they go out and win easily at SoFi Stadium. I'm done betting against the Titans and picking against the Titans because the same reason I said earlier, it's a team that's finding a way to win. They're finding different ways each week to get it done. Mike Vrabel's doing a great job with that. They've got a piecemeal offensive line. They don't know if Taylor Lewan, even when he's available, he decides not to go out and play. You've got no Derrick Henry. You've got no Julio Jones this week. The Saints have their own issues. They're starting quarterbacks out. Alvin Kamara's probably out. I think they find a way to get it done. It seems like a low-scoring game to me. It seems like a defensive battle where the Saints have been very good on defense this year. Titans are getting better and better on defense. I really think the Titans win a low-scoring game on Sunday, and we come back here next week, Jared, and start talking about again how the Titans continue to find a way to get it done, and because of that, they're the best team in the AFC.
You worried at all about the mystery illness today? Tannehill not at practice. Everybody starts freaking out about where's Tannehill. Then they asked Nick Westbrook-Akina. Nick Westbrook-Akina says, we have all the confidence in the world in Logan if Logan has to play. Then Vrabel gets out there, says illness, no clarification, no status for game day, no. But I think for about 30 minutes, I think everybody was pretty petrified Tannehill may not play this week. Any worry on that front with the mystery Tannehill illness?
So Vrabel did not rule out COVID, correct? He
did not. But hasn't Tannehill already had COVID?
He has. So, I mean, that would be the one thing that would concern me is just from a protocol standpoint. I know that he's vaccinated, so he should be okay, even if he got it. But he would have to sit out, if he doesn't test back in through protocol to play. So I'm really not worried about it because I keep thinking, Jared, what could possibly be the illness other than stomach virus, flu, cold, something like that would keep him away from the team. And I'm thinking of Ryan Tannehill's physical state right now. What would keep him from playing 2 days from now? And I just don't know what that would be, even if it was a bad stomach virus, a stomach bug of some sort. If he was sick today or sick yesterday and out today or whatever, he would still get enough fluids in him. He'd have IVs. He'd be ready to go on Sunday. So, yeah, I'm not that worried about it.
I'm not either. I'm more worried about the fact that Tannehill keeps throwing the ball to the other team. That, I think, is what's been worrying about me. And Titan fans have been all over me. Because these interceptions aren't even like, it was a great play by the defensive back, and it was a throw. Tannehill they're bad throws right over the middle, right to safety standing there, a linebacker standing there in the middle of the field, or a bad throw on an out route, and Jalen Ramsey just cuts in front of it. I'm more worried about that than I would be him not playing.
I'm way more worried about that. And I don't know why people would be mad at you about stating the obvious. He's had some terrible throws this year. Throws you would expect from a rookie and not Ryan Tannehill in his position as a starting quarterback in the league right now. Just bad decisions, terrible throws, not these little fluke, tipped interceptions at times, just awful throws. The Titans can't afford to have Ryan Tannehill be Matthew Stafford of this week. Matthew Stafford, with 2 plays, lost the game for the Rams. 2 huge swings of momentum in back-to-back plays, the interception of David Long that set up the touchdown, followed by the pick 6 by Kevin Byard. If Tannehill were to repeat something like that, what Stafford did last week, that's what loses the game for the Titans. He can't do that. He's got to be better. He's got to be the best player on this team, especially now without Derrick Henry.
Yep. Chad Withrow, Outkick 360. You can find him there. I believe you guys will be at Tennessee, Georgia tomorrow?
That is correct. I will actually be here in Nashville at a wedding of one of my best friends growing up, but Outkick the Tailgate will be in Knoxville tomorrow morning. Bobby Carpenter, former Ohio State Buckeye, Dallas Cowboy with Outkick, is flying down from Columbus. He will be Chad Withrow this week, so he'll be filling in for me. And Jonathan Hunt and Jill Savage, Bobby, will have a great show in Knoxville.
Sounds like when Pete Myers replaced Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen had to take over for the Bulls back in the day.
I'm afraid that it's like a Wally Pipp situation, and now you won't ever see me on Outkick the Tailgate ever again. Now the great and beautiful Bobby Carpenter will be taking over for me.
Chad Withrow, as always, enjoy the wedding. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon, Chad.
All right. Thanks, Jared.
Let me tell you about Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. That's right, the official sponsor of Fireball Hot Take Friday. I love Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey because it goes down so smooth and it tastes so great. There is no better way to ignite the night, whether you're going to be watching hockey this weekend or football this weekend, or if you're going to be like me and do both. You've got to do it with ice-cold Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. Again, ignite the night. Please be 21 years or older to enjoy. That is Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey.
Saturday night.
The free, and Duchesne puts it in. Matt Duchesne on the rebound.
Matt Duchesne and the Predators return to home ice for a Central Division matchup with the Arizona Coyotes. Pre-game at 6, face-off at 7 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
you a father that is passionate about your fundamental constitutional right to parent your own child or children? Has your parenting time or your income been affected by COVID? This is Amanda J. Gentry, and I am a fierce defender of your constitutional rights. The courts in Tennessee are under an obligation to maximize equal parenting time. We do not live in an every other weekend world anymore. At the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, fathers are extremely important, much like my own father was. Go to AmandaJGentry.com or call or text 615-604-6263. That's AmandaJGentry.com.
Here's exciting news from Genesis Diamonds, just in time for the holidays. We've just introduced our all-new luxury pre-owned Rolex collection, the largest and best selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces in Middle Tennessee. Hard to find, very sought-after timepieces. Over the past few months, we've scoured the country to find the best, most pristine, hard-to-get luxury pre-owned Rolexes, Submariners, Hulks, Batmans, Daytonas, Pepsis, and more. And next weekend, November 19th, 20th, and 21st, Genesis Diamonds is hosting our first ever exclusive luxury pre-owned Rolex event. Your chance to get the luxury pre-owned Rolex of your dreams with special financing. Imagine a pre-owned Air King for just $199 a month, or an extremely rare two-tone Daytona for less than $460 a month. Also for this event, our Rolex buyers are on site, offering top dollar for your pre-owned Rolex. Come see Genesis' all-new selection of certified luxury pre-owned Rolex watches, November 19th, 20th, and 21st. Genesis Diamonds, your new home for luxury pre-owned Rolexes.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Craneworks, Rentalworks, yeah! The big dog's got it.
Craneworks is ready to help lift Nashville. As the Southeast's most trusted name in crane and equipment rental for over 30 years, Craneworks offers certified operators to make sure the job is done right. Rentalworks has a diverse fleet of equipment to assist in any project, big or small. From forklifts to carry deck cranes, they have it all. When it's time for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project, call Craneworks. Visit craneworks.com.
Hey Nashville, Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee here, inviting you to tune in on ESPN 94.9 every Monday at 6 p.m. for the Commodore Hour, providing you with exclusive insights on Vanderbilt athletics.
Hey Nashville, this is Rick Stockstill, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Saints defense, what challenges do they present for you guys?
Well, I think they just have really good, players. I think they're sound. I think, the scheme is obviously good, but they're long on the edges. Davenport, Jordan, stout and explosive inside. I think their backers are active. I think I've always had a ton of respect for Demario Davis, and what he's able to do, and all, really in the run game, his ability to cover, and also. He's a really good blitzer. Does a nice job with them. Quan, and then obviously Werner rotating in there, getting some secondary guys. With Roby, obviously Lattimore, Jenkins, Williams. They have really good players in all three levels of their defense, and the rush helps the coverage. The coverage. They play different coverages. They play multiple coverages, and then obviously that'll help out the rush.
There you go. That was Vrabel talking about the Saints defense. Here are the numbers on the Saints defense this year. They're 5th in points allowed. Now, we decided before the start of the season that points allowed was going to be how we rank a defense. Now, the way it works in the NFL, defense is technically ranked upon yards. That's total defense, where they're 11th. But they are 5th in points allowed. They are 7th in causing turnovers. They are 7th in allowing first downs. Now, this is kind of surprising. They're 27th in passing. So even though they've got Marshawn Lattimore, they do give up a lot in the passing game. But they've got they've got 4 interceptions, which I guess is pretty good. I'm looking around. Let's see. Or they've got 11 interceptions. This is offense. Yeah. They're number 1 against the rush in the NFL, which probably we would talk about literally every single segment of the last week if number 22 was still running for the Titans. But the reality is the Saints have a good defense. Now, their offense on the other side of the ball, not very, very good. They are 28th in total offense, though shockingly 12th in points. That has to go back to the fact that they're 7th in takeaways and they're 4th in giveaways. So they don't turn it over very much, and they do take it away. which is a concern because Tannehill likes to throw the ball to the other team. So right now, keep that in mind. As far as passing is concerned, 31st in the league. Rushing, they're 10th in the league, and they're going to be without Alvin Kamara. And most of those stats were accumulated with Jameis Winston as their quarterback. And while he kind of sucks, he's out. Trevor Siemian, who couldn't beat out Logan Woodside for the job last year, is their starting quarterback. This is the NFL. And this is the thing about the NFL that I think I've learned, which is no game is going to be easy unless it's late December and a team has already given up. So right around Christmas, when the Titans play the San Francisco 49ers on Thursday Night Football, and the 49ers come in here, and they're just going to be going through the motions trying to earn a check. That game, the Titans should roll. Thursday Night Football, the visiting team almost always loses, especially when it is a lopsided matchup, especially in December when guys just want to get home and celebrate Christmas. They know their season is over. They know it's time to wait until next year. And guys that might be a little dinged up, I'm good, I'll stay home. You guys go to Tennessee. New Orleans is not there. New Orleans is 5-3. New Orleans is legitimately in a discussion for a playoff spot, though I think we all know it's not going to happen. But most of these games are not easy in the NFL. Everybody still has NFL players. Everybody's playing hard. The NFL itself is a socialist government. They want everybody to be 8-9 or 9-8. So this game on Sunday, it might be hard. I think it's going to be really hard on Tannehill. I think the New Orleans defense has a great front four. You heard Vrabel just talking about it. Now, when a coach talks about it like that, you have to be careful because they always like to blow smoke a little bit. It's going to be hard on Tannehill. This is not going to be an easy game for them to win. But just because it's not easy doesn't mean that we shouldn't hold them to the standard that they have to find a way to do it. I don't care how they win on Sunday. I don't care if they win 16-15. I don't care if they win 35-15. I don't care if they win 41-40. I don't care. They got to find a way to win by 1 point. But that's the difference between good teams and really good elite level teams. Floyd used to always talk about this, going back to the fact that the NFL is essentially a socialist government. Floyd used to always say, everybody's 8-8. Then you got some teams that are really, really, really good. You're 3-13. This year, the Texans are really, really bad. The Lions are really, really bad. Arizona and Green Bay are really, really good. And everybody else is 8-8. One play here or there, one turnover here, one turnover there. And he used to always say the difference between 10-6, which got you into playoffs, and 6-10, which got you fired, was about 3 or 4 plays over the course of the season. You go back to last week's game, there's like 4 plays in the entire game that made a total difference. Matthew Stafford's first interception, Matthew Stafford's second interception, the 2 fourth downs that the Titans converted, that made all the difference. So it's going to be hard on Sunday against the Saints. The gold standard Titan teams, the teams that I grew up loving, that anytime that you talk to somebody that is from here, that loves the Titans, they will, oh yeah, the Steve McNair, Eddie George Titans, the ones that Chris Sanders played on. Those teams won close games. 13-3, 2000. I think they were the best team of all the Titan teams. I think 2000 at 13-3 is the best team. They beat Kansas City by 3 points in overtime. They won a game against Kansas City 17-14. They beat the Steelers 23-20. They actually blew out the eventual NFC champion Giants. They beat the Ravens 14-6. They beat Washington on Monday night 27-21. They lost to the Ravens 24-23. They beat the Steelers 9-7. They beat the terrible they lost to the terrible Jags by 3. They beat the Eagles 15-13. Now, the bad teams in December 35-3 over the Bengals, 24-0 over the Browns, 31-0 over the Cowboys. So they beat the teams that had thrown in the towel in December, which is great because you got the Texans in December, you got the Jags in December, you got the Dolphins in January. They're going to be done. You got the 49ers in December. I mean, that's going to be great. But for this game, it's going to be hard. But it doesn't matter. If you're an elite level team, if you're the top of the AFC, you won't do what the Ravens did yesterday and lose to the Dolphins. You won't do what the Bills did last week and lose to the Jags. We're talking about a number one seed here, people. Those things do not just come to you. The number one seed is usually 12-4 at the worst in the previous years. So you probably got to go 13-4. It gives you 2 slip-ups. Trevor Siemian starting at quarterback, you ought to win this game. To me, it's that simple. And then I think this goes back to the idea of what really are the Titans. And I know Derrick Henry's out. Derrick Henry's best player on the team. I get it. That's how a lot of people would feel. But this is the NFL, and in the NFL, everybody has injuries. Just ask the Saints. So this is one they have to find a way to win. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 6-Pack Picks. We make our official Titans prediction, and we will do that next right here on Stillman & Company. We're delivered by TriStar Moving on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Let me tell you about my official sparkling water with a spark focus. That's right. I need a pickup. It is 5:40 on a Friday. It is pitch black outside. It's been a long day. But I am rocking and rolling thanks to my friends at Focus. Your body needs water, but it doesn't have to be boring. And that's why you need to give Focus a try. It's sparkling water with a spark. Sparkling water infused with a boost of natural tea caffeine, so you get clean energy without sugar, calories, or crash. Go to drinkfocus.com to see the full lineup of flavors and get them delivered right to your door. And they've got 4 new flavors. My friends at Focus, 4 brand new flavors for you to try. I love the peach. If you're looking at the stream, I got the peach right here. I love the peach. Go to their website, Drink Focus, PHOCUS, drinkfocus.com. Use the promo code GAME, G-A-M-E, at checkout. You'll get 15% off your first order. Focus is also available at your local Publix. That's PHOCUS. Focus on the web at drinkfocus.com.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. 30s tonight, 35 degrees for our low temperature. Frost by tomorrow morning. The afternoon on the cooler side as well. A high right near 50 degrees, but unlimited sunshine throughout the entire day. No rain worries until next week.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Celebrate Thanksgiving with Social Furniture and save up to 70% off all furniture. They have sofas, sectionals with chase lounge, and recliners that are all push-button electric and wall away. They have all colors to choose from for your comfort watching any hockey game. All of them are plus leather, microfiber, and Chanel's. They have same-day delivery with no down payments and no interest. Forget the big box store. Support local. Support social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Do you have a VA home loan? Don't let the year end without snagging what might be the best rate of your lifetime. Hey, Willie Donick here. Call my friends at Loan Pronto now. They specialize in a VA streamlined loan. You can get a lower rate with no appraisal, no income documentation, and no cash due at signing. Loan Pronto can even cover veterans' closing costs. So call Loan Pronto. Ask about the streamlined loan now. And with sky-high home values, Loan Pronto is also helping veterans get cash out of their home's equity for paying off credit cards, for home improvements like pools and new kitchens. Ask about their refi programs that let veterans access 100% of their home's value. VA loans made easy and fast with Loan Pronto. 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans eligible for zero-cost refi.
Last year, Nashville SC shattered the expectations in Major League Soccer.
Nashville SC dumping Toronto out of the playoffs.
Now they're back for more. Nashville SC is back in the Audi MLS Cup playoffs, and you can cheer for the boys in gold here at Nissan Stadium. Get your tickets now for round 1 to see Nashville SC face off against Orlando City SC on November 23rd at 7 p.m. Tickets start at just $24, so come be a part as the boys in gold look to bring a championship to Nashville. Get your tickets at NashvilleSC.com/tickets. Everyone in.
Stanley.
Maybe it doesn't hurt their bottom line this year. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen on that front.
Joe Rexrode.
5 guys who are on the roster are not going to be on the roster.
Get your morning started with Robbie and Rexrode every weekday from 6 to 10. Presented by Volunteer State Bank on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is on. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Stillman and Company. By the way, we already did our college picks in Caroline's, and I said that there's a better chance that an arm grows out of my rear end than Tennessee beating Georgia. And Skylar texts in and says, get ready to shake hands with your ass then, Jared. Good luck to the Vol fans out there who think Tennessee is going to win tomorrow. Guys, it's not going to happen. Just telling everybody out there. I just want to be completely blunt and honest with everybody. It is time, though, now for our six-pack picks presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Ian, how did we do last week?
Jared staying pretty consistent. Another 3-3 week last week. Caroline with another rough one, 1-5. So
she kind of sucks.
Jared is now at 29-24-1 on the season. Caroline falls to 19-34-1 on the season.
We need one more bad week from Caroline, and that pretty much buries her.
I think you're about right there. Yep.
I think we're getting a point. She did she know her record when she made her picks? Because she's out today.
She did not know her record. No.
Okay, she might need to Sally rule it here at some point, but it is time nonetheless for six-pack picks.
Okay, we will start. Noon, Fox, Atlanta. The Falcons showing up a little bit. Arthur Smith at the Cowboys. Over-under on this game is pretty high, as we would expect, 54.5. Falcons at the Cowboys. Dallas -9. Who's first, Jared?
I guess I'll go first here. I'm going to go ahead and take the Cowboys. 9's a lot, but I think Dallas is going to be pretty motivated. I mean, Jerry called the team out this week, and even though Jerry says a lot of crazy and kooky stuff, Jerry normally doesn't call out the team. I think the Cowboys will cover the 9-point spread. I think they were embarrassed last week. Dak had a week to get back. I'll take the Cowboys.
9 is a huge spread here, and I feel convinced to take Dallas -9 just because that offense is ridiculous. They have threats on the ground. Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott, obviously. They got threats in the air with CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper as their receivers. But I'm going to take Atlanta +9. I do think Dallas wins it here. They're just the better team. But 9's a huge spread, and Dallas has had some trouble rushing the passer recently. So I think that Matt Ryan puts up a decent number of points, but I think Dallas gets the win here. I think maybe by a touchdown. So give me the Falcons +9.
Okay, moving over to CBS for our next game. Noon on CBS. Browns at the Patriots. Over-under on this game is 45. New England -2.5.
That is the number I thought it would be. I'll take the Patriots. I just think Patriots are a better team right now, and they're playing at home. I'll take the Patriots -2.5.
I'm going to take the Browns on this one. The Patriots have looked better as of late because they've gotten their ground game figured out. But Cleveland has a pretty staunch run defense. So I think that Cleveland's able to get a narrow win here. I know that Baker Mayfield is injured, and I know they have all of the Odell news kind of floating over their heads, but I do think that Cleveland gets the win here and stops New England's run.
Okay, continuing on CBS, 3:25. Russell Wilson coming back. Seahawks at the Packers. Over-under on this game is 49. Green Bay -3.5.
Green Bay. I mean, I think, I think Aaron's going to play. And
good
even
coach, too.
When I had COVID, there was no way I could have played an NFL game like the week after I got it. But I think Aaron's going to play well, and I think the Green Bay is going to win.
Russell Wilson's returned, and the Packers aren't necessarily sure if they're going to get Aaron Rodgers back for this game or not. So I'm going to go ahead and take a Russell Wilson return game, put my money on the Seahawks on this one.
Okay, our Sunday night game this week, Sunday Night Football, 7:20 NBC. Chiefs at the Raiders. Another high over-under, as we would expect. Over-under on this game is 52. Chiefs, -2.5.
Raiders, I think they're a better team. I think the Raiders are a more solid team than the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs stink. Give me the Raiders.
Give me Kansas City minus the 2.5. I mean, the Raiders have just had
Good,
so many distractions for their team the past couple of weeks, and I am not counting out the fact that the Chiefs can make a comeback at some point this season. So I'm going to take the Chiefs by about a field goal or so.
Okay, our Monday night game this week, the Rams at the 49ers, 7:15, ESPN. Not a fan of the primetime games this week, huh?
I'm just so tired of the 49ers. They freaking suck.
Yeah.
Like, the 49ers have been on Sunday Night Football 4 times. They suck. It's like we watch them play Green Bay. Okay, they might not be terrible. Watch them play the Colts. They're awful. I mean, now we got to watch them on Monday Night Football. I mean, I get it. They play in a division where they got good quarterbacks, but I'm so over this. What was the spread?
It's over-under is 49, Rams, -3.5.
Rams. I mean, I thought this number was going to be closer to 6.5. The 49ers stink, and they're throwing in the towel in the season. They told you as a team. This is what's funny. Is Shanahan and Lynch decided to throw away all their draft picks to get Trey Lance to come in and save the franchise. And Jimmy G might be so bad that it might get them both canned this year. I mean, the 49ers are atrocious. Rams are going to run all over them, especially after last week's performance. Give me the Rams big.
Why is the spread only 3.5 here? I was thinking it would be closer to like a 7.5 range. So for sure, give me the Rams -3.5.
All right, that brings us to our final game. Saints coming to town to take on the Titans. Noon CBS. Over-under on this game pretty low, 44. Titans -3.
What did Caroline say?
Give me the Titans against the spread. I mean, the Saints are without their starting quarterback. They may be without Alvin Kamara, arguably their greatest weapon on offense. Now, this New Orleans defense is very, very good, and it absolutely is going to give Ryan Tannehill a little bit of trouble. But I do think that the Titans overall, they're on a roll, they've got a ton of momentum, and that they know that they're playing for that top spot. So give me the Titans -3.
I am going to take the Saints, but I am going to take the Titans to win. I think this is going to be ugly. I think it's going to be like a 15-13 final. Titans will win, but it will be hideous. It will be awful. It'll be all defense, no offense. It'll be terrible, and let's all pray for Tannehill's health. But the Titans will win, but I'll still take the Saints. That's going to do it for us. We are out of here. We're back Monday. Pregame show 9:30 on Sunday. The Money Line comes up next. Talking with TD's got the breakdown at 7 o'clock. We're out of here. We'll see you Monday at 2.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.